A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and what it means to be the wife of a famous star. After a most uncomfortable morning in her home in Rosehaven, Long Island, Mary, reading in the newspaper about Claudia Vincent's big break on Broadway, engineered by Larry's efforts, has left the dining room where she and her husband were the only two at table to answer the telephone in the entrance hall.
Hello?
May I speak to Mrs. Noble, please?
This is Mary Noble.
Oh, it's been so long since I've heard your voice, Mary, that I didn't recognize it right away. This is Julia Dixon. I hope you still remember me.
Oh, of course, Julia. It's nice to hear from you. I haven't seen you in ages, not since you returned from Bermuda.
Well, that's right, isn't it? Oh, what a pity you didn't get to go. I had the most glorious time.
How nice.
And that reminds me. I have a guest staying here in Rupert's house that I'd like you to meet.
Oh, I'd like to very much.
He's the most delightful young man. Absolutely handsome. Tan, tall, and blonde.
Sounds very exciting.
Oh, he is. But then I suppose Rupert has spoken about him to you and given quite another report.
I don't remember.
How tactful you are, my dear. But it doesn't really matter. I didn't call you to go into raptures about Oliver Wilson. The reason I called is to invite your family to come over here Sunday afternoon to a little informal garden party.
Oh, how nice, Julia. Sounds like a lovely idea. But I'm not sure it'll be possible. You see, we have a guest, and besides...
If you mean Claudia Vincent, why, of course I wanted to come. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I'm calling you. We read about her wonderful new stroke of luck in the paper this morning.
Oh, I see.
Rupert and I are both so glad for her. Such a big break to be able to get an important part in a Broadway hit. Well, how in the world did it come about?
I really don't know, Julia.
Oh, we don't believe a word of what Monty Rufus said. He's always such a horrid gossip. But whatever the reason is, both Rupert and I want you all to know that we're very happy about it.
That's so nice of you, Julia. Would you mind holding the line for a minute while I ask Larry if he'll be free?
Of course not. Go right ahead. Only do try to persuade him to come.
I will. Just a minute. Larry?
Yes? Who is that? The way you're talking, Mary, it must be someone soliciting funds.
Nonsense. It's Julia Dixon. She's invited us all to come over to Rupert Bauer's place Sunday for a garden party.
What?
I've asked her to hold the line while I found out if you'll be free.
What does she mean by all of us?
Just what she said. You and me, Maud and Claudia. Larry Jr., too, if he wants to come along.
Well, I'll be hanged. What's the big idea?
I really don't know, Larry. Must there be a big idea?
I would think so, under the circumstances.
Well, in that case, I suppose this is Rupert's way of being generous. I read about Claudia in Monty Rufus' column. Julia made that clear. But Rupert doesn't want you to think that he harbors any grudge. I think it's very thoughtful of him.
Yes, you would think that.
I can't very well keep Julia waiting any longer. What shall I tell her?
Tell her no, we can't make it.
Oh, you mean, of course, you and Claudia can't make it.
I mean, none of us can make it. Why should we go over there when all it will mean is trouble?
I don't think that's being quite fair. Of course, if you can't spare the time, that's for you to decide. In that case, I'll just tell Julia, and Maud and I will go over by ourselves.
Oh, Mary, wait a minute.
Yes, Larry?
All right, have it your way. Tell Julia we'll all be there in full force. We may not be able to stay long. I feel sure we'll be rehearsing well into the night. But first, we'll attend the garden party by all means.
All right, Larry. I'll tell her. Hello, Julia?
Yes, Mary?
I'm terribly sorry to keep you waiting so long.
That's quite all right.
We'll all be delighted to accept for Sunday.
Oh, that's just fine. I'm so glad. Will you be here around, too?
Yes, that'll be perfect. Thank you so much, Julia.
It'll be nice to see you. Goodbye, Mary.
Goodbye.
Mary, what a terrible thing I've done. I don't suppose you'll ever forgive me. I can't understand how it could have happened, and I'm awfully ashamed of myself.
Really, Claudia? I should have thought you'd be very pleased. It's exactly what you wanted.
What in the world do you mean, my dear? Now, how could I be pleased at oversleeping so late? Well, you must be perfectly furious with me.
Why, not at all. In fact, I assumed you must be tired, so I didn't give it any further thought.
Well, of course, I was tired, but at the same time, to stay in bed till this disgraceful hour, well, you really should have called me.
Hello, Claudia. Thought I heard you up. Have a good rest?
Hello, Larry. I was just telling Mary how ashamed I am to have stayed in bed so long.
Oh, don't you worry about that. We went right on without you. We just finished lunch, as a matter of fact. But Mary's sure to be able to find something for you. Isn't that right, honey?
Yes, Larry, of course. If you'll just tell me what you'd like.
Oh, not a thing, Mary, please. You just make me feel even worse about being such a nuisance.
Aren't you hungry?
Starved, if you must know. But I don't want to upset the whole house. Maybe I could persuade you to drive me to the village, Larry, where I could eat a great whopping breakfast at the dog wagon.
That's not at all necessary, Claudia. I'll be very glad to fix you anything you'd like.
Oh, no, please, Mary, no. Oh, let me do it this way. That is, unless you haven't the time, Larry.
Oh, not at all. I'll be glad to drive you to the village, as a matter of fact.
Of course, if you insist. Perhaps it would be more comfortable for you.
But it's you I'm thinking of, Mary. Well, I know how much you have to do running a house like this and with an actor who keeps such horrible hours in the bargain. I don't know how you do it.
I've never found it too difficult, Claudia.
Well, that's only because you're so very clever, my dear. You don't know how I admire you.
I think it's the other way around.
Why, what in the world do you mean?
It seems to me you're the clever one. I read about your great good fortune in getting Sheila's part in the play that Larry is starring in.
You did? You mean it's in the papers? And here I've been wasting all this time not knowing? Oh, I'm so thrilled, Mary. Just imagine it. Me, a completely unknown person, getting a chance to play the lead opposite Larry Noble. Why, it's too fantastic for words.
Oh, come now, Claudia. It's not that great.
Oh, of course it is, Larry. Oh, it's the most astonishing thing that could happen. I still have to pinch myself to make sure that I'm awake. You know something? I kept sort of half waking up for hours, and then it would flash through my mind that there was something important about today. And then I'd half remember. But I was always afraid to really wake up for fear it was all a dream. So that's really why I slept so late.
Well, you can wake up now, Claudia. It's all true. We start a week from Monday night if all goes well.
Ah, isn't it wonderful, Mary? Just imagine. I'm actually going to play in a hit on Broadway, thanks to your wonderful husband.
I hope you'll be very successful.
I'm scared to death, but I simply won't let Larry down. Not after all he's done for me.
Not entirely for you, Claudia. I was doing both Sheila and Harold Ramsey a favor at the same time. Sheila wants to get out of her contract so she can be married and go to Europe. And Ramsey had to find a suitable replacement, or force her to stay on against her will. I figured that I did a good turn all around.
Isn't he sweet, Mary? The way he makes it seem so easy. And yet I know just how much he went through convincing Mr. Ramsey to give me a chance to read for him.
Larry can be very convincing when he puts his mind to it.
But that's priceless, darling. Did you hear that, Larry?
Yes, very funny.
But right now I simply must see the papers. I've got to read every word that's said about me. Oh, I know that's disgustingly vain, but I just can't help it. Why, this is my first big break. Have you got the papers handy, Mary?
There's only one mention of your new role, Claudia. It's in Marty Rufus' column. I'll see if I can find it.
No, don't, Mary. We'll drive on down to the village. Come on, Claudia.
But I must see what that rascal said about me this time.
What difference does it make? Marty Rufus always distorts every fact so it turns into nasty gossip. Come on. Let's get on down to the village.
Well, if you really mean I shouldn't see it, was it so very bad, Larry?
No, just silly. Come on. You go ahead, Claudia. I almost forgot something.
All right, Larry. I'll wait for you in the car.
Mary.
Yes?
I'm going to stop by the bank while I'm in the village. I wish you'd tell me where you put our safe deposit key. It used to be in that small drawer in the desk. I couldn't find it a while ago. Did you put it somewhere else?
Mary fumbles for time as she wonders how to answer this question, as Claudia Vincent playfully sounds the car horn. If Larry finds the papers that he turned over to Rupert Barlow, finds them back in the safe deposit box, what will he have to say? Be sure to be listening tomorrow to Backstage Wife, the story of Mary Noble and her husband Larry Noble, famous Broadway star.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X minus 1. Tonight's story, Hello Tomorrow. After the third atomic war, when the Earth was a mass of red radioactive dust, a handful of men and women went deep underground in the struggle for survival. A new civilization was built deep underground, a civilization which must keep a ceaseless vigil against the deadly gamma rays which filter down through the Earth. A civilization where the prime consideration is the genetic survival of the race. It is to this civilization in the year of our Lord, 4195, that we take you now.
Professor Lois Burton?
Yes.
I have a call from the Director of Emotional Stability for the Third Oblong. Go ahead, sir. Hello, darling.
Hello, dear. How is the Director of Emotional Stability? My, how impressive that sounds.
Don't joke, dear. You never know who may be listening.
Sorry. How are you? You sound tired.
Well, we've had some bad cases. Mostly frantic mothers who insist on imparting their feelings to children. I suspect it's chromosomes affected by gamma ray leakage from the surface, but the head of the psychotechnic division says they're glandular cases. But that isn't why I called. I have good news.
What is it?
The genetic board has approved our application for marriage.
So soon?
Our chromosomes tested perfect. We can marry any time we want. As a geneticist, you should know that our offspring should be 90 percentile of perfection.
I know.
What's the matter? You are happy about it, aren't you?
Of course. Terribly happy.
I'm coming right over to the lab.
You'll have to give me some time.
What's the trouble?
No trouble. You know that genetic survey I've been working on?
What about it?
Well, I've finally gotten permission to study an actual living case, a specimen of imperfect genetic transmission.
Really?
They're bringing him, or it, up from the condemned cages on the lower level.
You will be careful.
There's nothing to be afraid of. The specimen is XJ12. It's been studied before many times and is quite well trained. Oh, there's my door signal. I'll have to hang up, darling. See you later. Yes?
Professor Burton?
Yes.
I'm from the Phylogenic Institute.
Oh, you brought my specimen?
May I come in?
By all means. Oh, how...
Horrible? It all depends on your viewpoint. I happen to have a twisted leg. My parents were genetically unsound.
But then you...
Yes, I am specimen XJ12.
I see.
I hope you aren't shocked.
No stable person permits feelings to enter into his work. I will admit to surprise. I was expecting something a little more abnormal.
Well, I try to be as abnormal as possible. It pays off. The Phylogenic Institute allows me out of the genetic cages ever so often so I can breathe the pure air of the upper levels and mingle with the genetically perfect.
You seem quite well educated.
I spent the first years of my life here in the upper levels.
How is that possible?
As a small child, my mother concealed me from the director of heredity. My mother actually, dreadful word, loved me.
That would explain your obviously low threshold of emotional control.
If you choose to call it that. You seem to be struggling to repress a few feelings yourself.
We will confine ourselves to the impersonal aspects of our work.
As you please.
I shall require you as a demonstration for a lecture I'm delivering to one of my classes tomorrow.
At your service.
Sit here, please. Grip these electrodes tightly. I'm going to calibrate your electrochemical tension.
I'm quite familiar with the procedure. I realize that as an imperfect I am expendable, but I should hate to be electrocuted.
The charge is not lethal. Plus 15 surface tension.
You know, you have beautiful hair.
Plus 12 at a depth of 4 centimeters. My hair meets minimal requirements for the genetic code.
And lovely blue eyes. Crystal clear. Oh.
Plus 10 at 7 centimeters.
Pretty. A perfect woman. Lovely, expressive hands. Oh. And a heart of stone. Like all the rest of you perfect survival types.
Shut up.
Oh, could it be you do have feelings?
I seem to sense an air of emotional tension.
It's nothing, dear. This is the specimen.
You, specimen. Tell this dolt who I am, Lois.
This is the Director of Emotional Stability for the Third Oblong. You will address him as Mr. Director.
Mr. Director.
This creature seems quite impertinent.
He's only a specimen, darling.
Well, use him and ship him back to the cages. He's probably radioactive.
Attention, attention. The next demonstration will be conducted by Professor Lois Burton of the Institute of Genetics. Her topic, the probability of radioactive damage in the chromosome heredity of imperfect non-survival types. Professor Burton.
As you know, most imperfects are destroyed at birth. However, those who, for one reason or another, manage to survive are segregated in cages on a lower level for study purposes. The specimen we have today has been trained to tell in his own words about the factors in his upbringing. You will have to forgive his immature emotional control factor. He is, as you can see, quite different. Specimen XJ12. You will proceed, please.
Thank you. My mother was a psychotechnician in the Fifth Oblong. My father was an historian specializing in the records of pre-atomic surface culture. In the earthquake of 2170, apparently some hard radiation filtered down through the tunnels and penetrated the Fifth Oblong. The effect on my hereditary factors is quite apparent in this twisted leg. My father taught me in the last days before he was executed that every human personality is born with certain inalienable natural rights. The rights to have feelings, the right to mature, and above all, the right to be different from every other living organism. Because it cannot be otherwise, I submit to you, distinguished students, that the attempt by this society to abridge these rights is a violation of nature. I submit that the imperfects, the mutants, those who are different, have as much right to exist and be free as you. And I say, break open the cages.
Stop him!
Give us back the right to be individuals.
Stop him!
Oh!
Perhaps that will teach you. Professor Burton, take this specimen back to your laboratory and confine him.
Hold still while I bandage your head.
Oh.
You'll be all right.
I suppose you detest me for getting you into trouble.
I don't detest you.
What?
I don't know why, but as you spoke, something began to stir in me.
Tell me what you feel. If I moved you, then I must have moved the others, some of them at least.
For some reason, I took pride in what you were doing, seeing you stand up against them. Why do you look at me like that?
I can't help it.
I wish you wouldn't. You're only an imperfect, you know. Please.
My name is Orrin.
Please.
Say it. Orrin.
Orrin.
Again.
Orrin.
Lois.
Orrin.
Lois. Lois.
How touching.
Walter.
I've been listening for some time.
Walter, how could you?
In my capacity as Director of Emotional Stability, it is my duty.
What are you going to do?
Specimen XJ12 will be disposed of quite systematically by the state. For the good of the state, for the good of the genetic code, and in the name of emotional stability.
Walter, I have to talk to you.
Go right ahead.
Walter, you mustn't destroy him.
The specimen? Why not?
He's emotionally unstable. You have to expect irrational behavior.
Aren't you forgetting something, my dear? That you were responding in much the same manner? Or had you forgotten? You see, I'm having him liquidated for your sake. He has an upsetting effect on you.
Then send him back to the cages. But don't kill him.
You speak of destroying an inferior creature as if it was something unethical.
Walter, please, for my sake.
I understand that you have entered a plea for postponement of marriage at the Records Bureau.
Yes. I was too upset to go through with it.
It came as a great disappointment to me.
I'm sorry.
I was hoping that, linked to a stable personality such as mine, you might settle down. If you were married to me, I might even be persuaded to send him back to the cages instead of having him destroyed. Think it over.
If I refuse?
The choice is yours. Well, my dear?
Perhaps you're right.
I am.
I suppose I ought to be rational about this. After all, he's an imperfect.
I'm glad you've come to your senses.
When can we be married?
Tomorrow, if you like.
The sooner the better.
Let me talk to the custodian, please. Hello. This is the Director of Emotional Stability for the 3rd Oblong. I would like you to cancel the execution of specimen XJ12. Turn him over to be remanded permanently to the genetic cages. You'd better go. I'll pick you up in, say, an hour, and we'll make plans. All right?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Hello. This is the Director of Emotional Stability again. I want you to cancel that last order. Proceed with the execution, but under conditions of absolute secrecy. No, don't use the lethal chamber. Take him through the upper level to the tunnels. Yes. Yes, I'll issue a pass for the radiation checkpoint.
Into the elevator. Very well. Why are we going toward the surface? The cages are on the lower levels. Radiation check. I've never done that before. New procedure. Walk.
Halt. You can't go beyond this point. There is radioactivity in the tunnels.
I have a pass from the Director of Emotional Stability for the 3rd Oblong. Special mission.
I'll open the airlock.
March inside. Turn around.
So this is how they get rid of the imperfects. Now, before you dispose of me...
Yes?
This!
Help! Security! Security!
What is it? What's happened?
The prisoner struck me. He escaped into the tunnels.
He won't last long.
Can you go after him?
I could send a robot, but it isn't worth the trouble. There's no way back from the tunnels except through here. The only other direction he can go is toward the surface. And the closer he gets, the hotter the radiation. No. I think you can consider your prisoner officially dead.
More wine?
No, thank you, Walter.
You look very beautiful, my dear. Very beautiful.
Thank you.
The wedding will be a small affair. The Director of Endocrine Control, the Chief of the Security Guard.
Walter?
Yes?
Was he returned to the cages?
Oh, now, why must you spoil it?
Was he, Walter?
Well, as a matter of fact, there was a little difficulty.
Difficulty?
Yes, you see, XJ12 escaped.
How? Where?
He struck a guard and ran off into the tunnels.
The tunnels? But that's sure death.
He's free to return any time he chooses. Now, don't become upset, darling.
You planned it, didn't you, Walter?
Stability, darling, stability.
Stability. Here's what I think of stability.
Halt. State your business.
I'm Professor Burton of the Genetic Institute.
You can't go into the tunnels, Professor.
You'll have to let me by. I'm the fiancée of the Director of Emotional Stability.
Oh, I suppose you're after the one who escaped?
Yes.
He's quite dangerous, I understand.
I'm well armed.
Wouldn't it be better to send a robot?
I'm quite capable of handling him. He was my subject.
All right, miss. It's your risk. Checkpoint.
This is the Director of Emotional Stability.
Yes, sir.
If Professor Burton tries to pass the checkpoint, I want her taken into custody.
Professor Burton just passed, sir. She
You
said that...
idiot!
But, sir, she said that
I
she
don't
had...
care what she said. Stop her. Send robots after her. Get her back.
Yes, sir. At once, sir. Robot control. Checkpoint to robot control. Order out all televocal robots into the tunnels. Have them bring back any humans. This is a first priority order.
Oren! 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 Oren, where are you? Oren.
Hello?
Oren! It's Lois.
This way. Behind the rock. Over here.
Oh, darling, darling.
Lois. Lois, why did you come here? It's suicide.
I had to. Oh, darling, are you all right?
So far.
You've got to turn back. Give yourself up.
They'll kill
You
me.
can't stay here. The radiation is +4 at this point. It gets worse as you approach the surface.
Lois, darling, go back.
What will you do?
I'm going ahead.
But you can.
I can. I'm going to the surface.
It's certain death. Not even the robots can survive it.
Well, at least I'll be the first human in 1,100 years to see what the surface of the Earth looks like.
Come back with me.
No, Lois.
Then I'm going with you.
Lois.
Don't try to stop me, darling. There's nothing to go back to now. Nothing but Walter and emotional stability.
You really want to come with me?
Yes.
You know what it means.
I don't care.
My mother used to believe there was a life after death. A place called heaven.
We'll believe it, too.
Oh, no, Lois, I can't let you go.
Oren, I love you. See, I know how to say it now.
Say it again.
Oren, I love you.
What is that?
It sounds like... Oren, it's a robot patrol. They're looking for us.
All right, come on. This way.
Oren, wait.
It can't be much farther, darling.
The robots. They're coming. I can see their lights now.
Listen, they stopped.
The lights are swinging round. Oren, they see us.
Come on. Look, Lois, look ahead. You can see the lights reflecting from something.
It looks like a lead door.
Come on through. There must be some way to close it. Oh, yes, here.
Let me help.
Well, they won't get through that. It's solid lead.
Oren, I feel so strange. Where are we?
I don't know.
Look, up there. A huge round light.
Lois.
Yes, Oren.
Lois, that's Luna. The moon. We're on the surface.
How strange and red everything looks. How it glows.
It's the radioactivity.
Quiet and peaceful. And deadly.
Oh, hush, darling, hush. Sit here and rest a while.
Put your arm around me.
Yes.
Oren, I'm afraid. Oren, we're going to die.
Don't think about that. Just think about us. Alone. The first humans to stand on the surface of Earth in 1,100 years. That door must have been placed there by the last handful of survivors who went underground after the atomic wars.
And those other lights, the small ones, they must be stars. Oren, I'm so tired.
Go to sleep, darling. Put your head on my shoulder and sleep.
Hold me, Oren. Hold me very close.
universe is like. Oh, Orrin, how beautiful. Look.
This must be the heaven my mother talked about.
See the plants? All green and fresh. And the birds. How strange they look.
Lois, this isn't heaven.
But we must be dead, Orrin. We should be dead. The radiation.
By all the laws of nature, yes.
By all the laws of nature. Orrin. Orrin, we're not dead. This is Earth. And we're alive. We're not going to die.
But, Lois, the radiation, it's present. You can see its effect.
Orrin, did you ever hear of geotropism?
I'm not a geneticist.
There's a natural law of adaptation by which an organism will try to adjust itself to its environment by changing. It's called geotropism, don't you see?
No.
All these generations we've been bombarded by radiation filtering down through the Earth. Each successive generation must have inherited some degree of immunity.
But...
Orrin, it can't hurt us. Don't you see? We're immune. We're probably the first generation to inherit sufficient immunity.
But, darling, if that's true, then we can transmit that immunity. We can pass it along to our children.
And they to their children. Come on. We'll have to find food and water.
The practical life. Wait a minute.
What are you doing with that rock?
I want to scratch something on the outside of this lead door.
Lois and Orrin.
4195 A.D.
Hello, tomorrow.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production. Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X-1. Tonight's story, Ray Bradbury's Dwellers in Silence. "20 years had passed. 20 years since the last of the giant migration ships had crashed to the surface of Mars, bearing its pitiful handful of survivors of the Earth Wars. 20 years of longing, of turning eyes toward the green Earth as it hung on the horizon like a beckoning light. And now it was done. And the first new ship, built of shining Martian chromaton, had lifted bravely toward home with 3 men locked in its metal belly.
There it is. You can barely see the top of the Atomic Trades building in the twilight. A never-finished building.
Captain.
What is it?
Am I going out of my mind? Look, out that way, to the west. Could that be...
Heaven, it is. Those are lights. Turn the ship. Full cruising speed.
They are lights. Captain, it's a city, a whole blasted city lit up like a Christmas tree. What do you think of your dead planet now, Williams?
Decelerate to -5. We're going to take her down.
Unbelievable. We've been walking for hours now and not a soul to be seen.
There must be someone. How do you explain the light?
Unless they've been burning like this for 20 years.
Impossible.
I don't know. Municipal building. We have a look here, sir? Possibly the record might contain some.
That's a good idea. Keep your weapons ready. We'll start right here with the city clerk's office. Better check radiation again, Doctor.
Well, not enough to do any damage.
Gives you the creeps, doesn't it? Look at this desk. Papers crumpled, inkstand, just as if somebody came in and worked here every day. Dog licenses, hunting permits.
That's strange. There's ink in that inkstand.
Well, what of it?
Well, you'd think standing open for 20 years it would have dried up. Good heavens.
If I hadn't heard it with my own ears. Evans, did that phone ring?
Yes. Well?
Pick it up, Doctor.
Hello?
Good day, Doctor. How are you? I called to ask some advice about a trepanning problem. Can you tell me if the lateral cut should be made first?
Hello. Hello. This is absolutely insane. Hello.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll do that. By the way, how is your wife, Alice? And the girls? And your son, John? Fine boy, John. I'll call again tomorrow. Goodbye, Doctor.
Hello. Hello. Huh. Gone dead. Who was it? I don't know. Strange voice carried on a conversation about some surgical operation without paying the slightest attention to anything I said. Captain.
What is it?
Listen. Someone is coming, walking slowly toward the corridor.
Coming closer.
Jumping Jupiter. It's a man. An old man.
Are you... Is it really someone? You seem to be real. I saw the ship come down, and I thought perhaps I was losing my mind. It's been so many years.
I'm Captain John Parsons. These are my assistants, Dr. Evans and Mr. Williams. We returned to Earth from Mars.
Then it's happened. We're not alone anymore. Forgive me, gentlemen, if I seem moved. I've waited and hoped for so long.
You survived the radiation.
We did.
There are others.
My family. We are the only ones.
I answered the phone a moment ago. Who was it?
You heard my voice, Doctor.
Yours?
Yes. To break the loneliness. I've recorded my voice and rigged up an automatic telephone. It's pleasant to hear the phone ring. I come here to work.
I take it you are a medical man.
My name is Cornelius Hathaway.
Hathaway? Hathaway, the brain surgeon?
You know my name?
Who doesn't? I watched you on television at college. Why, I saw you 23 years ago. You performed a difficult surgery for a cerebral tumor.
Thank you. I'd almost forgotten. My mind, you see, I'm almost 80 now.
Well, you look fine, sir.
We've had the best of everything. An entire city to choose from. Cold storage, the best equipment. But come. There's a fine dinner waiting for you, and you'll want to meet my family. When I saw the ship come down, I told Alice, my wife, you know, to prepare a feast. This is a great day for me, gentlemen. A great, great day. Alice, come out to the porch and see who we have here. Alice, you here? Come out. My wife, gentlemen. Alice, Captain Parsons, Dr. Evans, Mr. Williams.
How do you do, Hathaway?
How do you do?
And now, if you will follow me in, gentlemen, we'll meet my children.
Lord, what a beautiful woman.
She looks no more than 35.
Do you suppose the radiation could have done that to her?
I don't know. And these are my daughters, Susan and Marguerite, and my son, John.
How do you do? How do you do, sir?
Sit down, gentlemen, sit down. We'll have a feast in honor of this occasion. Susan, Marguerite, get the best silverware and the damask napkins. And John, fetch the champagne.
Yes, Father. Excuse me a moment, John.
Sir?
How old are you?
23, sir.
Thank you.
What is it, Captain? Something wrong?
Nothing. Except that it's impossible. You see, Dr. Hathaway's son was already in college when I started. That would make him at least 45. That was a wonderful meal, Mrs. Hathaway. Doctor, your wife is an exceptional woman.
Thank you, sir.
How would you gentlemen like some fresh gingerbread with your coffee?
Hmm?
I've baked it this morning.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Smell that, Doctor?
It's like coming home, Mrs. Hathaway.
It's like home having you here.
Mrs. Hathaway, may I compliment you on having preserved your youth and beauty so well?
Thank you. We have no worries here. No competition. All the things we need for material comfort.
Parsons and I were wondering, Dr. Hathaway, if the radioactivity had any effect in preserving tissue. Your children all look so young, too.
It is possible, gentlemen, of course. Radiation does strange things to living tissue. Alice, could we have some champagne? Alice.
Oh, I'm sorry. What, John?
Some champagne, please.
Champagne? Oh, yes, of course.
An amazing woman. Did you ever see such grace, such complete relaxation?
It doesn't seem quite natural.
I beg your pardon, gentlemen?
Captain Parsons was just about to ask how you and your family managed to escape, Dr. Hathaway.
We were very fortunate. You see, my home was in the Sierra Mountains at the time. I had a lead-lined laboratory in the basement where I did X-ray research. My hobby, you know. I chose this house because it was on a hill where I could watch the sky. Oh, the loneliness of those first years.
But at least you had your wife and children.
Yes, I had my family. If it were not for them, gentlemen, I assure you I would long ago have put a bullet in my head.
Champagne, Captain?
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Hathaway. May I propose a toast?
Oh, let me. Gentlemen, to Earth.
To Earth?
Earth. May she never be stranger to man. And...
Hathaway, what is it? You all right?
It's nothing. It's nothing, really. Just a rather sharp pain in the chest. Why don't you gentlemen go out on the porch and enjoy the air? You've had a long and tiring journey. Alice, we'll show you the way.
Will you be all right, John?
Yes, don't trouble yourself. I'll see you all in the morning.
Good night, Doctor.
Good night. Come, John.
Yes, Father. Well, what do you think of old Mother Earth now, Williams? Smell that summer breeze. Look at that view of the city, lighted up against the sky.
It has a certain quality. Well, score 1 point for the back-to-earth proponents.
I didn't say that. You're beginning to feel it, though, Williams, I can tell.
If you don't mind, gentlemen, I'm quite tired. I think I'll turn in. Excuse me? Well, Captain?
Well, what?
What do you make of all this?
I don't know what you mean.
This Hathaway and his family. There's something strange and unnatural going on here. I can sense it.
Oh, I think you're reading things into it, Doctor.
Perhaps. Well, I'll turn in, too. Coming?
In a moment. I want to smoke a cigarette.
It's a very beautiful view, is it not?
Oh, I didn't hear you come out. How is he?
Resting. I've never seen him this bad.
Yes, he's an old man. I'm sorry, but the difference in your ages is so apparent. You must have been married very young.
You don't know about us, then?
No.
Perhaps it is better that way.
I don't follow you. Is it something about your husband? He acts very strangely.
My husband is a very great man, Captain. It is too bad there was no one to appreciate him. Once he wired the whole city with sound speakers. And when he pressed a button, the whole town lit up and made noises as if 10,000 people were living in it.
He must have been very lonesome. Although, with a woman such as you, I don't understand.
Perhaps one day you will understand.
I hope you will come to trust me as a friend.
I can trust no one but him. Good night, Captain.
Good night, Mrs. Hathaway.
Captain.
Captain Parsons. What are you? Who's there?
Dr. Evans.
Oh, what's wrong? What time is it anyway?
2 a.m.
What's wrong?
I couldn't sleep.
few minutes ago, I heard someone slip out the front door. In the moonlight, I saw it was the old man. He was headed toward the ship.
What are you suggesting, Doctor?
Nothing, except that it's fairly unnatural for an old man with a bad heart to go wandering off at 2 in the morning.
Very well. We'll follow him. This is far enough.
What do you suppose he's doing? What are those on the ground?
Good Lord, those are grave markers. 4 of them.
You're right. He seems to be praying over them.
Listen.
Do you forgive me for what I had done? I had to do it. I was so lonely. So terribly lonely. You don't mind too much? You do forgive me, don't you? Yes. Yes, I feel you do. Well, I'm glad. I think perhaps I can rest now. I think
He's having another attack. Come on. Hathaway. Dr. Hathaway, can you hear me? Raise his head, Evans. Dr. Hathaway.
His lips are moving.
What is it, Doctor?
Closer. Lean closer. I'm sorry I had to spoil all of this. I've expected it for some time.
We'll fix you up.
No, I'm an excellent diagnostician. It really doesn't matter. Except for them.
What about them, Hathaway?
You suspected, didn't you?
Yes, I suspected. But I couldn't believe it until now. Do they know?
No, they wouldn't understand. I wouldn't want them to know. Ever.
Doctor?
He's dead, Captain. What was it he meant about your suspecting?
Light a match, Dr. Evans. Look on those 4 grave markers and tell me what you see.
Good heavens.
Well?
Alice Hathaway, Marguerite Hathaway, Susan Hathaway, John Hathaway. Died July 1987. But that's 20 years ago. It's impossible. If these markers are correct, then who are those others?
Can't you guess, Doctor? Can't you guess? I'm sorry, Mrs. Hathaway.
He didn't want us to feel badly. He told us it would happen one day and that he didn't want us to cry. He didn't teach us how, you know. He said it was the worst thing that could happen, to know how to be lonely and unhappy. We weren't to know what death is.
Perhaps it's just as well.
You know about us, don't you?
Yes, I know. I didn't think you knew yourself.
The children don't. I have been aware for a long while.
No one would have guessed. You're so perfect.
He would have liked to hear you say that. He was so very proud of us. After a while, he came to love us, and at the end he took us as his real wife and children. He even forgot sometimes that he had made us.
You gave him a great deal of comfort.
Yes. Over the years we sat and talked. He loved so much to talk. I was first, you know. Then he became lonesome for the children, and so he made them. There was only one thing. One flaw.
And that?
He couldn't make us grow old. And so he had to watch himself become an old, old man while we stayed young. It was a great blow to him.
We'll bury him on the hillside where the other 4 crosses are. I think he would like that.
Yes, he would.
Mrs. Hathaway, Alice, I think that you are a very great and wonderful woman. And so we commend the body of this man, John Hathaway, to his Maker. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust returneth. Amen.
Come, John.
Yes, Mother.
Susan, Marguerite.
Evans, Williams, stay here a moment, please.
What is it?
Let them go back to the house. I want to speak to you.
I know what you're going to tell us, Captain. I saw the names on the grave markers.
Well?
It's a mockery, a blasphemy of everything we believe in. For a man to do something so evil...
Can't you imagine what he faced? Can't you imagine what it must have been like to have watched his wife and children die slowly of radiation burns? To know that he was the last man on the face of the earth, alone, eternally and unalterably alone. Good Lord, man, what would you have done if you'd had his medical and technical genius? I'll tell you, you'd have come back to your laboratory just as he did and tried to recapture all the wonderful things that they had been to you. You'd use all the power of your memory, all the accuracy of your fingers, and you'd try to put together, bit by bit, all those things that were wife, son, and daughter.
It's incredible.
So you suggest that we take them back, Captain? I don't know. We haven't enough space in the ship for that. Every ounce counts. Still, to leave them here like that, alone...
I think I have an answer, cold-blooded as it may seem.
Go on.
I suggest that we turn them off.
Do you think I could do that?
No, but I think I could. After all, they aren't human. They're worse than robots. They're ghoulish. I suggest you go back to the ship, Captain, and leave me to deal with them.
I will not permit it.
You've no choice in the matter. I assure you it'll be quick and entirely painless.
I hate to admit it, but he's right, Captain. We can't take them with us, and it would be less than human to leave them here without Hathaway. They were created by him for himself. They have no other feelings, no other purpose. If you leave them, they'll go on year after year, night after night, talking, laughing, baking strawberry biscuits for no reason, not knowing who they are, why they exist.
Could you do it, Doctor?
I don't know.
I've already offered to do it.
No, I wouldn't want it to be you, Williams. You're sick. You have no feelings. If Dr. Evans here can do it, well, so be it.
It's a difficult thing, Captain.
Still, as you say, they aren't human. Logic is on your side. It isn't as if you were murdering someone. Well,
give me the blast gun, Williams.
We'll wait in the ship. Take off in half an hour.
Half an hour.
$6:25. He should be back soon.
Yes.
He's doing the only humane thing, Captain. They're less than human.
Are they?
Well, it's done now. No one will ever... That's the airlock. He's back.
Well, here's your gun.
Did you do it?
When I entered the house, one of the daughters looked up at me, and she smiled. The others smiled. He taught them that, taught them to make him feel welcome when he came home at night. I knew that, and yet, well, I should have done it then. I might have, but she came in. The wife. She said something about sitting down for a cup of tea. She looked at me with those fine, intelligent eyes. I couldn't do it. It would be murder. Cold-blooded murder.
I prayed you wouldn't be able to do it. There will never be anything as fine as they are, you know. Built to last 100, 200, perhaps 1,000 years. Well, get the course in the integrator, Williams. We'll take off in 20 minutes. I should be back by then.
You're going out, sir?
I'm going to say goodbye.
You've come back.
Only to say goodbye.
It was nice of you.
I wanted you to know that I'm coming back.
Here? To us?
Here. To you.
I believe you.
I never meant anything more.
When will you come?
I don't know. It'll take many years to prepare fuel for another trip. 6, 7, perhaps 10 years.
I will watch the sky at night, just as he watched it.
I'm not a young man.
Time is nothing to me. I was born out of time.
I'm afraid I must go now.
I understand. Strange. I have a new feeling. One which he didn't teach us. A feeling of longing, of sadness.
That one is not taught. It comes of being alive.
Yes, I am alive. even though he created me. I'm a person now.
Goodbye, Alice Hathaway.
Goodbye, John Post.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Dwellers in Silence, written by Ray Bradbury and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Anne Seymour, Carl Weber, Theodore Osborne, Richard Hamilton, Edwin Jerome, and Stan Early. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production. Don't forget, next week, X-1 will be heard on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The underwater city of Euclidia has a new surprise to offer in each of its giant rooms. This weird colony beneath the sea, composed of 13 immense natural caverns, improved and strengthened by the Euclidean scientists, has been the prison for the adventuring Gregory party for some time. Strange things have happened to different members of the party, and the most recent, and perhaps strangest of all, is the addition of the girl submarine commander, who has been removed from her position as a Euclidean and sent to join Mrs. Gregory. Jerry and Joan are talking about this as they approach the entrance to the largest of the underwater caves, and one which they have not seen before.
Well, gee whiz, Joan. If Tex and your mother and this Euclidean girl are so blame sure we can get away from here, what are you so afraid of?
Please, Jerry, do not speak so freely. We may be overheard.
Not along here. That girl commander said we could talk in this room just the same as if we were outdoors.
I wonder if she will remain loyal to us.
Oh, sure she will.
I know that you are very sure of the attractiveness of your world, Jerry, but it does not hold everyone. Each of the Euclideans could have a place of prominence in your world if he chose, yet they remain here. And 3 members of the crew of Mother's boat have become loyal Euclideans.
Oh, don't you believe it. Those fellows are just working for the Euclideans to keep them happy. You'll see whose side they're on when the time comes to escape from here.
I hope you are correct, Jerry. But in any event, I'm sure you speak too freely of escape.
Well, okay, I won't say any more about it. But we'll escape just the same.
Is this the entrance we're to use?
Oh, it must be. It's the only one near here.
Then let us enter.
Well, sure. Come on.
Oh, Jerry.
Golly whiskers, Joan. There's an airplane flying around this room.
You are right, Jerry. That is a small airship of the type employed in your world.
And imagine a room big enough to fly one of those things around. Watch it now. It's going to land.
Jerry, there is no one in that plane.
There ain't what?
Not ain't.
No, isn't either. You're right. That cockpit is empty. But that little plane was doing a good job of flying around the cave.
It must be radio-controlled.
If it is, they sure know their business. That landing was the smoothest thing I ever saw.
How large would you estimate this chamber to be?
Well, I'm not used to rooms this size, and things fool you around this crazy place. But I'll bet it's at least 2 miles across and pretty near a mile high.
That would be my estimate, too.
Oh, wonder they can fly airships in here. But why are they doing it?
I should say that was obvious. They are testing the plane in some manner.
Well, sure they are. But why test a thing like that? Well, they've got rocket planes here that will go 1,000 miles an hour. Why would they be playing around with a little old ship like that?
That I do not know.
Well, I'll bet I'll find out pretty soon. G-47 said we could ask as many questions as we wanted to. And here's where I asked some.
Of whom are you going to ask them?
Yeah, and it might be a good idea to find somebody to talk to. This is the emptiest, lonesomest room I've seen since we came here.
There must be someone who was observing and controlling the flight of that small plane.
Quiet, Joan. Listen.
Jerry, isn't
it sure is. Why, that must be the old guy who experiments with notes of music. What's his name?
Octavo.
Yeah, that's the fella. He's trying to figure out a note that will bust up something right now, I'll bet.
I believe the sound came from behind that steel screen over there.
Well, let's try it over and see.
Yes.
Yep, you're right, Joan. There's the old boy. Hello there, Octavo.
He is very deaf, Jerry. I do not believe he heard you.
Well, let's get around in front of him. Hello there. I said hello.
Who are you?
I'm Jerry Hall.
And I am Joan Gregory.
I know you. You were once Cleostra, the living symbol of the perfect Euclidean calendar. Now you are an outcast.
The choice was mine.
The choice of the outcast is usually his own.
Hey, look here, mister. We didn't come around here for you to make wisecracks to us.
Was there any purpose in your coming?
Sure there was.
Then state it. I'm busy.
We will not interrupt, but G47 gave us permission to visit various parts of Euclidia and ask questions regarding anything we did not understand.
And there's plenty we don't understand.
I can believe that of you.
Oh, never mind that stuff. Is it all right if we watch what you're doing?
If G47 is given his permission, it is not within my province to deny a request.
Oh, okay. We won't get in the way. What are you doing?
Did you observe the flight of that robot-controlled plane?
Yeah?
We witnessed the end of a flight as we entered this chamber.
I am working with the destructive musical notes, searching for the keynote of the motor in that plane. When I find it, the plane will crash.
I should think it would.
I will be interested in studying the results.
To try it out on real planes in our world someday, huh?
Who knows?
Well, I don't know, but I've got a pretty good idea.
Keep your ideas and hold your tongue.
Please, Jerry, we will not be allowed to witness this experiment if you anger Octavo.
Oh, okay, I'm shut.
I believe I am approaching the correct note. I will send the plane aloft once more.
How do you do that?
Thales, the master electrician, is operating the controls for me. You may see him in the tower yonder.
There he is, Jerry.
No, I see him, and I don't like him.
Jerry, was that not sudden?
Sudden? Worse than that. Why, that little plane just jumped into the air.
You will observe the plane. It is flying rapidly, in irregular curves and loops. Watch it intently as I strike a variety of notes on the musical glasses.
Hey, Octavo, when you hit that other note, I thought the motor of the plane started acting up.
There was a change in the sound of the plane.
I observed that. However, the plane continued unharmed. The musical note was, therefore, not perfect.
Yep, it's still flying, but that came mighty close.
I will signal Thales to land the plane and rearrange the scale of these glasses.
It is very clever, is it not, Jerry? The manner in which that small plane is controlled from a distance.
Sure is, but I've seen that done back home. What I'm interested in is this musical glass thing.
You will observe that I will change the level of the liquid in several of these glasses.
Well, which glass do you use now?
That I cannot determine without going over them.
Well, you've got to do all that all over again?
Precisely.
You are impatient, Jerry.
But this is liable to go on all day.
All day? Young man, I have spent a lifetime at this work, and I've isolated only a few of the destructive notes.
Well, we'll walk around and look at something else while you get tuned up.
You have my permission to do as you please. But let me warn you to remain out of range of the musical notes.
We will be very careful.
See that you are.
Come on, Joan. Let's see what we can see around here.
I believe there is little of interest in this cavern. It appears to be merely a testing laboratory for planes.
Well, what's the matter with that for interesting? A testing laboratory for airships, and the ceiling of the place is 400 feet below the ocean.
It is unique.
Yeah, I guess it is. Hey, look, Joan. Is that a real airplane?
Where?
Right here, this little thing.
It appears to be.
I never saw anything that small that was supposed to fly except a kite.
Oh, do not touch it.
Oh, well, I wouldn't hurt it any.
Nevertheless, I would advise you to leave it alone.
Oh, okay. Sounds like October's getting ready to try it again.
The little airplane is still standing idly.
Well, I guess the old boy knows he hasn't even got a note to close to what he needs.
There is the control tower, Jerry.
And Thales looks like he's got some fun out of doing something to us.
I think that Thales and Cheops are now both very dangerous enemies.
And I know they are. G47 punished both of them for letting that rocket plane crash while Tex and I were alone. And they acted like it was our fault.
The captain's quick action in saving all of your lives made Cheops and Thales look very foolish. And the Euclideans do not enjoy being the object of ridicule.
Well, I don't think anybody does, but it's too late to worry about it now.
Did you notice, Jerry, that there are clouds up near the ceiling of this cavern?
Clouds? Well, by Jiminy, you're right, Joan. And that's sure something to tell the folks. A room under the ocean so high that it has clouds in it.
Of course, the clouds might easily be formed by vapors arising from the damp floor of the cave.
Something going on again.
The old man is striking his musical glasses.
And the plane's taking off again. Maybe we'll see something this
A
time.
number of the notes have been struck, and there is no obvious effect on the plane.
The old boy's staying right with it, though. He must think he's got something.
He has unlimited patience.
One thing you've got to say for Thales, he sure knows how to run that plane by remote control.
Jerry, I believe Octavo is nearing the solution of his problem.
What makes you think so?
He is striking that one note continuously.
Yep, he is. Maybe that's the one. We'd better watch that little plane mighty close now. Oh, boy! He put in your hand at that
The
time.
motor was stopped for a moment, but it is running perfectly again. He's striking that note again.
And you can hear it. It's longer. It seems to stay in the air.
Jerry, that motor has stopped.
And the plane is falling.
No, the motor is functioning again.
Boy, that was close. I wonder what he'll do now.
He is repeating that note.
Yep. And this time he's really making it stay in the air.
The motor is uncertain. No, it has stopped.
He's got it, Joan. He's got it this time for sure.
The plane is falling, although Thales is working the controls in an attempt to keep it afloat.
He'll never keep that ship up. Look, Joan, the motor wasn't the only thing the musical note hit. The wings. See how loose and floppy they
The
are?
entire plane is going to pieces.
It is. It's going to crash. Gee whiz.
Oh, Jerry, that was terrifying.
I'll say it was. Suppose that had been a big plane with people in it.
Perhaps a human pilot in the plane could have kept it aloft.
Not a chance. Nobody can fly him when the wings come off. I've heard Captain Bradford say that.
Well, young man, you do not seem to be in such a light mood now. Did you enjoy my little demonstration?
No, I didn't enjoy it, but it was good.
That was my meaning.
Octavo, could you have done the same thing to a larger plane with a human pilot at the controls?
Certainly. Probably with less effort.
Well, what are you going to do with that thing?
Can you not imagine the effect such a demonstration would have on your country, for example?
Gee, you wouldn't dare do anything like that.
That is a foolish remark. And you know it only too well.
Yeah. Well, I guess I do.
Jerry, let us return to our quarters.
It suits me. And if we've got to see things like this all the time, well, I'd just as soon not do any more looking around.
Jerry and Joan have just watched one of the most terrifying demonstrations they have ever seen. Down in the underwater city of Euclidia, where the ceilings of the giant caverns are over 400 feet below the surface of the sea, and the caves themselves are from 1 mile to nearly 2 miles in diameter, the two younger members of the Gregory party have learned something which sends them running back to their quarters to report their experience. Waiting for them are Captain Bradford, Mrs. Gregory, and the Euclidean girl submarine commander, who has been robbed of her Euclidean honors and sent to spend her time in confinement with the Gregory party.
But, Tex, I don't feel quite so sure about it.
Oh, take it easy, Pat. Those kids are all right.
I believe the captain is correct, Mrs. Gregory. Jerry Hall and your daughter are quite capable of taking care of themselves.
Right, Elaine. Those two can get out of anything they get themselves into.
But, Tex, there are so many things in Euclidia we don't understand, things we know nothing of. And Jerry is inclined to talk far too much and too loud. I'm always worried for fear he'll make one of the Euclideans angry.
I think you need have no further worries along those lines, Mrs. Gregory. The Euclideans will treat Jerry kindly, regardless of his actions, until such time as they have secured the captain's formula.
Well, then they'll wait a while. I'm not ready to let them have it just yet. And when I do, they won't enjoy receiving it.
Tex, have you decided exactly how you're going to use the formula when the time comes?
Just about. At least I know exactly where I'll use it.
Oh, there's the 12 o'clock signal. And Jerry and Joan are not here for lunch.
That won't hurt anything but their feelings. Those two are well fed. Missing a meal won't do them any great harm.
The captain is right, Mrs. Gregory.
I know he is. He's always right. But there are so many terrible things all around us, and we've lived so long in uncertainty and fear that I don't like to see our party separated.
We'll probably have to separate plenty of times before we manage our escape from this place.
Hi, everybody.
Jerry, please do not make so much noise.
I'm not making any noise.
Well, Pat?
They're in perfect health.
Hey, Mrs. Gregory, Joan's afraid of a little noise.
No, Mother, not a little noise.
Where have you two been?
Oh, wait till we tell you. Hey, but let's have lunch first, huh?
The table is not rising through the floor.
Perhaps luncheon has been delayed.
Well, they don't delay things for fun around this place. I'll bet they're mad at us, and we don't get any lunch.
Have you been doing something to get yourself in bed?
No, Captain, but we have watched a very wonderful experiment.
Oh, tell us about it, John.
Oh, we will. But let's eat first, huh?
As you have observed, it will be rather difficult to eat without food.
What has happened?
Well, we don't know, dear. The luncheon signal sounded just before you and Jerry came in, but the table isn't making its usual startling entrance.
Well, Jiminy Jimcracks. Will you look at that?
What?
That little steel pole sticking up through the floor.
Where did that come from?
Obviously, it has been raised from the lower level, much as the table is elevated.
Yes, I can see that, but we were looking for a table full of lunch. That thing won't help us any.
I have seen this happen many times, Captain Bradford. I believe you will find that our noonday meal is there for us.
A meal on top of that thing?
Are you serious, Elaine?
Hey, hold it, everybody. I'm beginning to get the idea, and I don't like it.
I think I know, Jerry. More of those pills.
The concentrated Euclidean food pellets.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I think I can do without mine.
Me too. I'm not as hungry as I thought I was.
It would be very foolish to refuse food. We will find that this concentrated meal is an indication of an emergency within the city. And if we do not eat now, it may be some time before we will be offered another meal. And certainly some time before another meal of worldly food is sent to us.
Will you please bring the pellets, Jerry?
Oh, yeah, sure. If this is all we're going to get for a while, we'd better eat it. Yep, here they are. 5 little pills for us to get fat on. Well, I can't give you any choice. They're all alike, so help yourselves.
Thank you, Jerry.
You do not seem to enjoy the prospect, Mrs. Gregory.
Well, none of us are crazy about it, but it's the best thing we have offered right now. Thanks, Jerry.
This is very nice, thank you.
What's nice about it?
When you are offered food on Euclidia, it will be well for you to remember that anything you receive deserves your gratitude.
Oh, hey, forget it, Elaine.
Why, I am sorry.
We understand, my dear. You have been a Euclidean so long that it's not easy for you to break away from it.
Did sound startling, though, to hear the voice of that submarine commander suddenly pop out at it.
I will be more careful in the future. No one could want to forget Euclidia more quickly than myself.
Well, our dinner's all over. I don't feel any too fat.
Now, Jerry, you are perfectly aware that the food you have eaten is entirely sufficient for your needs.
Oh, sure. But I can't taste it.
What did you and Joan see that kept you so long, Jerry?
Oh, well, when we went over to...
Pardon me just a moment, Jerry. But I think that's the sort of second-order business. I'd like to hear something more from Elaine about this emergency she spoke of.
I cannot tell what it is, as I have no way of securing information now. But something is happening. Something which the Euclideans feel important enough to warrant calling the staff from the food chambers to active duty.
Oh, all hands and the cook on deck, huh?
Must be that, son.
But what could be happening?
Many things. Perhaps an attack from the outer world.
I think not. With the exception of yourselves, no one from the outer world even suspects the existence of this underwater colony.
That's true, so far as we know.
Well, what makes you so sure anything's gone wrong?
Emergency rations in the form of this concentrated food invariably means that everyone in Euclidia has been called to their emergency station.
And the most natural emergency is an attack.
Not necessarily. The Euclideans live in constant fear of the ocean.
A fear that these caverns may not withstand the pressure and allow the water to flood the city?
I felt that we were in danger from that.
No, not that, I think. These caverns are natural, and even though the scientists do not like to admit it, their artificial structures fall far short of nature's wonders.
I knew it. Golly whiskers, I knew it. Those guys aren't as good as they claim to be.
Now, don't go too fast along those lines, Jerry. G47 is the greatest scientist in the world, perhaps the greatest of all time. And he's merely showing his intelligence when he fails to trust something he's built against all the laws of nature.
I agree with you on that text. G47 isn't going to make any mistake as serious as the mistake of overestimating his power.
I think that is quite correct.
Okay, he's smart then. But so are we. Let's go and find out what he's doing.
I will go with you, Jerry.
No, Joan, dear.
But, Mother...
Not this time, Joan. You don't know any more about this underwater city than we do. And you and Jerry have done enough touring for one day. Now, I think your mother, Elaine, and myself will go out presently and have a look around. But before we do, it might help to know what you and Jerry saw on this last trip.
Well, we saw plenty. And it wasn't good news for our world either.
What was it, Jerry?
Well, You remember those musical notes that blamed near wrecked the submarine we stole?
We are not likely to forget that quickly. The horrible tremors that passed through the steel shell of that huge boat as the musical note struck it.
Are they working on those things again?
They are indeed, Captain Bradford. Jerry and I saw Octavo perform an amazing experiment.
He is working in the airship testing cavern, is he not?
He sure is. And he's got Thales working with him, too.
Thales is operating the radio control from the tower, and Octavo is testing his musical robot-controlled plane, flown within the chamber.
Within the chamber?
Yes, Mother.
You mean one of those undersea caverns is large enough to fly airplanes in?
Boy, I'll say it's large enough.
The plane we saw in use was a very small one, of the type ordinarily used in your world for observation. Yet the results would be the same with a large plane.
What happened?
Well, the first couple of times old Octavo hit a note, the plane just shivered a little and kept on going. But the third bunch of music he turned loose, the motor stopped, and the plane started to fall to pieces.
The plane was breaking up in the air?
Indeed it was.
Then Octavo has accomplished something he has worked on for more than 10 years.
And what will be the effect of this on flying if we can't stop these activities?
Well, if we can't keep this guy Octavo from getting loose in our world, well, there just won't be any flying, unless the Euclideans do it.
Exactly. And what you've just seen is one more reason for our plans to take this place over.
Captain Bradford, may I ask a question?
Why, certainly, Elaine.
Will you trust me?
Trust you?
What do you mean, Elaine?
Trust me completely. Allow me to participate in your plans for escape and the capture of Euclidia?
Oh, sure we will. Well, I've known ever since I first saw you that you were going to be a friend of ours.
And I, too, feel that the commander... Oh, I'm sorry. That Elaine is to be trusted.
Of course. You're one of us now, Elaine. And you have no more reason to love the Euclideans than we have.
What caused you to ask that question?
It would appear to me that the time has come for us to make some well-organized and rapid movement if we hope to leave Euclidia in safety.
And what do you suggest?
Nothing for the moment. But if you will allow me to enter into all of your discussions, I am sure that my services will prove of value to you.
Oh, sure they will.
That would seem reasonable to me.
If you wish, I will go over the situation with Jerry and Joan, while the captain and yourself learn what you can of the present emergency.
Very well. Come on, Pat. Let's go out and look around.
Are you ready to leave at once?
Yes, I just thought of something.
Hey, isn't there anything we could be doing?
Do what Elaine suggested. Get all of our ideas on our position here. We'll go over them when we're together again.
Get you back, Mother.
Well, we'll return as soon as possible,
And
then.
while we're gone, you three remain in these quarters. Whatever happens, don't leave here until you see us again.
Oh, but Captain Bradford,
Tex, what's the matter with you?
I've got an idea.
Well, it must have been a sudden one.
Well, it was, and I wanted to get you out of there where I could tell you before my face gave me away.
What is it, Tex? Something you didn't want the others to find out?
Something I didn't want that girl submarine commander to find out.
Tex, what has happened?
Nothing yet. And I think as long as we keep an eye on that girl, nothing will continue to happen. But let her out of our sight after she knows our plans, and G-47 will have them just as quick as she can get to it.
Oh, you're mistaken.
Oh, I wish I was. Something tells me that girl is not what she pretends to be.
Why, that's out of the question, Tex. It isn't reasonable. That girl has helped us a number of times.
Yeah, true, but if you remember, she never helped us into any very permanent security.
But she's an outcast from Euclidia. Even Thales and Cheops told you that, Tex.
It would be to their advantage to tell me that, wouldn't it?
Tex, something very definite has happened. What is it?
That girl asking us if we trust her. That sounds too much like a criminal who gets his alibi ready before anyone accuses him of the crime.
Oh, you're worried about nothing at all, Tex. That girl is a friend of ours, and I'll trust her with our lives.
Well, I won't. I think she's hiding something from us, and that's that. We won't discuss our plans with her.
Tex, I'm sorry to have to say this, but you've invited it. I'm in charge of our party.
What?
Just that. After all, this entire expedition is mine. We came on my boat. The responsibility for all of you rests with me, and from now on, I'll assume active command.
But, Pat,
I'm sorry, Tex, but I don't see it your way. And you'll be good enough to take orders from me. That girl remains a member of our party, and I expect you to treat her as such.
When a man has learned how to do something, he wants that something to be important and needed and wanted in the world. Well, progress tends to eliminate various old necessities and replace them with new ones. And sometimes people are unwilling to change. Once upon a time, there was the occupation of buggy whip maker, for example. And I wonder how many people today make their living chipping flint points for arrows. Various professions have been eliminated. And various others will be. By automation, by other forces of society. But sometimes an individual fights back. And that can cause trouble. Who's there? Who is standing there?
Excuse me, sir.
Come forward. Out of the shadow where I can see you.
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't mean to frighten you.
Who are you?
My name is Morrison.
I've never seen you before. What do you want?
The robot down the highway said that I would find the owner of this dome in the garden, but I couldn't hear what else it said. It's rusty.
Is it? I must see to it. Although it would really be wasted effort. You're the first visitor to this home in, must be 6 years, or perhaps it's 7.
I wanted the robot to tell me if this was the dome of Cran.
Yes, I am Cran.
Oh.
Come. Can't you see I'm wearing a very thin robe? The wind up the canals is sharp this time of evening.
Oh, please don't be angry. I need your help.
You need my help?
Well, you are a doctor, aren't you?
What?
Are you a doctor?
My child, I am the last physician alive on all the planets of the human race. The last except for Targ, whose name you also saw on the card index. But he is senile, and he lies on his couch also.
My sister is sick up on the mountain.
Yes, I believe I have the signal honor to be the last physician among the race of men. Poor Targ, a hopeless case. He couldn't attend the ceremony that was 10 years ago, on my 125th birthday. Very impressive.
Oh, please listen, Cran. My sister is sick.
Thousands of people, educators, dignitaries honoring me, the last of my kind. It's a sad thought. And it's not right. I thought it wasn't right at the time. My profession goes back to the beginnings of recorded time. And then suddenly we're no longer needed. Turned out with a medal and a statue and a thank you.
Oh, Cran, what must I do to make you understand?
Let go of my arm.
My sister is sick with some kind of disease.
It's impossible, my child.
I knew you wouldn't believe me. I just knew it.
Disease has been destroyed.
That doesn't change the fact that my sister is lying up on the mountain with her skin hot as fire 1 hour, as cold as ice the next. She trembles and she moans. Oh, Tom.
Young woman, is your sister expecting a child? If so, she should report immediately to the automation hospital. There's one down the road, staffed with the finest obstetrics.
There is no child. She's just sick.
I refuse to believe that.
Oh, all right, then. I'll go back and watch her die, then.
Wait a moment. I would help you if I could, but I haven't had a case since I was 40 years old. There's been no need.
I know all that. I went to school once.
Disease is an outmoded concept. Chemotherapeutics long ago rid the human strain of its infirmities, cleansed the planets of illness. Psychotherapeutics cleanse the minds of men. To sickness is obsolete.
So all you care about is that my sister violates all your rules.
Perhaps it is natural death. Perhaps you should have taken her to the geriatric mortuary. We have not obliterated death, you know. And if she's quite old, perhaps it's time for her to go to the machine.
My sister is 28 years old.
Oh, I see.
How far is the city? Maybe if I go there, I can find someone who won't laugh at me.
Wait. Please, come inside.
So that you can joke with me again?
Be silent. Come inside. A little light, please. Pass your hand along the wall of the dome. There, that's better. Now sit down.
Oh, I'm going to the city. If I find someone there...
Oh, will you be silent? I'm trying to help you if I can. I don't know what I can do. It's been many years, but I'll try. Now, sit down.
All right.
How long has your sister been in this condition?
For 8 days.
What are the, I've forgotten the words. Yes, the symptoms.
Well, she's hot and cold and turned. She doesn't recognize me. Oh, she coughs and coughs.
Good heavens.
What's wrong?
It sounds like some sort of primitive illness. At the end of my practice, my last patient was a complex of neurogeriatric syndromes. I studied nothing but multiple ills. And then when the last of those were wiped out by the new drugs and the new techniques, why, I simply had to quit. But a primitive disorder.
I've bothered you for nothing.
What do you mean? I'm going to try, certainly.
What good will that do?
My child, I am a physician, and it is my duty to try. That much I remember. Come now. I think my unit car is still working. You'll have to direct me to the mountains for your sister. The man has really forgotten his trade. He can still feel terrible resentment.
She must be in terrible pain.
Love is so steep. I'm not used to such.
No, but it's just a little further. We're almost to the dome.
Why do you live in such a desolate place?
Our father built his hydraulic sheds up here because he disliked the city. When he died, we had to stay here because we didn't know any other place to make a living.
We're here. Open the door quickly, girl. Put on the light.
We don't have atomics, just a small generator for electricity.
Well, that'll have to do. Now, let me have a look at her. Oh, yes, you're right. Her skin is burning.
Oh, Neela. Neela, can you hear me? I brought a physician.
It's no use. Oh, I've forgotten the simplest words. What is it? What is it? Oh, yes, now it comes back to me. She's delirious. Bring the table closer. Now, do you know how to load one of these viewers?
I'll try.
The set the viewer on the table. The text on the film, if I remember rightly, contains close to 1 million diagnostic patterns. Now, just get the spool onto the sprockets.
Oh, I think I see how to do it.
Now, young woman. Neela, that's your name, isn't it? Open your mouth for me. Come now, open it. Yeah, that's better. Now open your eyes. And I'll have to do it myself. There. The pulse. Now, where's the pulse? The arm. Yeah, no, that's not it. Lower.
The text is on the viewer.
All right, I'll code the symptoms myself.
Do you know what's wrong? Can you help us?
To answer your first question, no, I don't know what's wrong. To answer your second, I will only know whether I can help her if the viewer finds a diagnosis for me after I code the symptoms. Now, if there is medication prescribed with the diagnosis, and if by chance I still have that medication in my kit, there might be a chance.
Why did it have to happen to her?
Why, indeed. The learned men of all planets would doubtless be curious to know the answer also. Here, let me sit that down at the view. Let's see. First symptom, fever. Second symptom, inflammation of the throat cavity. Third symptom, advanced olfactory congestion. In a moment, we should have the answer, if there is one contained in this text. This last key. There. Great heavens! John, can't you see the card in the last appendix of the text? Antique maladies. Let's see what it says. Yes. All the symptoms are exact because it's a virus. There's the code name right there. The proper agent, let's see. At the bottom of the card, chemotherapeutic number 411009. Open the kit quickly.
What was the nominality? 4110. Oh, yes. It's here. 009.
2 of them, 2 of the tablets. Give them to your sister.
Neela, please do as I ask. You open your mouth. That's right. Now, take these tablets. Oh, that's right. And swallow. Oh, that's fine, Neela. And now you rest, dear. And you'll be better soon.
Please stand aside.
What are you going to do with that?
This hypodermic, I want a sample of your sister's body fluid.
What for?
Give me a quantity of the virus to enable me to duplicate the virus in my own laboratory.
What's wrong with you? Oh, your face, it looks so different now.
Viruses were virtually destroyed a long time ago, but perhaps immunity has weakened in 300 years. Perhaps if the cause were there again and the immunity was not...
Don't you touch her with that needle!
Please stand back, my child. I have helped your sister. A small quantity of blood in return is a fair exchange. It's not right that we should be dismissed with a medal and a statue. It's not fair. I'll make myself the scapegoat if necessary. Take the blame for spreading the disease. That's all right. I am an old man. But I have made it possible for others after me to practice medicine once more. The virus may mutate, develop new strains, immunity may be gone. Then back a few cc's of fluid in this little chamber, and there'll be disease again, and physicians to heal.
You get away from me!
In fact, I warn you, if I must use violence, I can still find strength.
Stay away! Stay away!
Oh, sweetheart!
When a man is retired from his business, it's one thing to know that the business is still going on, that the business itself has not been retired. But somehow, it's a much deeper hurt to have the business itself cease to exist. If only that business hadn't stopped, that he could feel that something of his business was going on. I think that's what's bothering the ex-doctor.
You?
My sister died during the night.
I'm sorry.
You're not sorry at all.
You must understand. I couldn't stay with you. I left you there unconscious. I knew you'd come around soon enough.
But my sister died.
I did what I could. I gave the prescribed medication. It's lucky I had some of it at all. The virus must have been too strong. The immunity factor down to nil.
That's why I came. To ask whether I will contact the disease.
It's possible.
And could pass it on to others.
I wouldn't allow myself over that. I'd be making my own plans.
And that's why you took the blood.
Of course.
Do you think that this particular virus is widespread?
I am sure it isn't. This one case must be pure accident. I told you that the virus, as a cause of infection, like all causes of physical and mental illness, was totally counteracted years ago. And that's why I was given the medal and the statue, because they didn't need me or my kind. But they will again, and soon.
Oh, I've never had much education, but this idea of yours, it just isn't decent.
Oh, no?
You'd bring sickness to people just to carry on a tradition.
Not a tradition. The noblest tradition in the history of the human race. A tradition of comfort, of healing, of leading sick minds and bodies back to health.
But that was accomplished years ago, you said to yourself.
Yes, but it's not right, that's all. Not when so much has been given and sacrificed for the good of mankind.
What you plan to do is not for the good of mankind.
I won't listen to you anymore.
What you plan to do violates everything that's right. A doctor is supposed to heal, to cure.
I didn't do so very well with your sister, did I?
For that I can forgive you. You said yourself it was a rare case. Perhaps it will strike me and I will die. And then it will never happen again. But to set out to create disease...
Get out of this laboratory, you little rat.
Before other doctors and look them in the face and say, I'm doing this for you, making others ill so that you can be doctors again.
There are no doctors except Targ, and he's senile. I am the last.
And you are very old and something's happened to your mind.
I warn you, leave this stone immediately.
Not before I destroy whatever you took from my sister.
You see this? A laboratory torch. See the blue flame? It burns. It will burn you if you come a step close.
Just destroy what you took from my sister, that's all I ask.
Not a step nearer.
If you don't, I'll destroy you and myself and this whole place.
You're a fool.
I know it. And I'm not very old or well educated, but I may be a better physician than you are.
I told you to stand back. I'll burn you.
Is that it, the large flask?
Don't touch it.
Watch out, old man. Your bones move slowly.
Let go. Let go.
There, see it fall, old man.
I'll kill you. I'll blast you with the torch.
You missed me.
Stand still. Stand still.
It's the side of the wall.
Come back. Don't hide that way. Come out from behind there.
Now there's no chance for you to create the new diseases.
Now, which way? Flame, not me. You direct me.
I know, but I don't care.
It's not right. I am the last doctor. The tradition must be carried on. They gave me a medal, a statue. It's not right. It's not right. Not right.
If you're looking for a more secure and stable world in the future, I'm afraid you're in for unhappiness and disappointment.
The world of the future is going to obey the ancient law. Change. Learn. Find a new and better way. Because the old way always turns out to be a little inadequate. There is nothing that's perfect. Let's go to work and find a better one. It's the whole point of progress. Do a better job than we've ever done before. And you know, when an occupation, when a profession, when a tradition dies, it served a purpose. The purpose does not die. That goes on. And that's what the old doctor didn't recognize. The purpose was to serve human life. And that went on. And always will.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellows and girls, don't ever get the idea there's nothing you can do to help win this war. Just because you can't join the Army doesn't mean that you can't be part of this big fight to preserve the American way of life. No, sir, not at all. There's one big important thing you can do, and I'm going to tell you about that right now. You see, aside from the fact that we can't all be soldiers, sailors, or Marines because we're too young or too old or something, it's necessary for a good many of us to stay right here where we are. As a matter of fact, Uncle Sam tells that for every man in the armed forces, there must be 11 people back home to help keep them well supplied and see that everything runs smoothly. It's sort of like a civilian army that cooperates with the armed forces to help win this war. And that's where you come in, you and I. For we're all members of a civilian army, and the best way we can help our boys at the front is to buy war-saving stamps and bonds, and buy them regularly. How does that help? Well, let me tell you. It helps our government to finance this war. It helps to buy guns and tanks and planes and all the other things the Army, Navy, and Marines need to knock out the Japs and the Nazis. For example, every time you buy a 10-cent war-saving stamp, your dime will pay for 5 bullets. And every 5 10-cent stamps buy enough fuel oil to carry a destroyer a full mile. So you see how important it is for you to buy a war-saving stamp every time you've got a dime. See if you can't get Mother or Dad to give you a dime every day or every other day with which to buy war-saving stamps. Talk about this with all your friends. Ask them to buy war-saving stamps regularly. Ask your mother and dad and all your neighbors and relatives to sign Minuteman pledges. Do all you can to build up the sale of war-saving stamps and bonds. And that's what you can do to help win this war.
And now the adventures of Superman. When Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, decided to go to the Hudson Bay country of northern Canada in answer to a message for help from his friend Sebastian Beauvais, he soon discovered his trip was to be a dangerous one. An attempt was made on the editor's life by the henchman of a strange individual known as the Laugher, who finds much to laugh at in the troubles of other people. For some reason, the Laugher does not want Editor White, nor Kent, nor Lois Lane to reach Sebastian Beauvais' hunting lodge in the Canadian wilderness. In our last episode, our friends were on their way to the airport, unaware that the driver of their taxi was one of the Laugher's henchmen. When the driver pretended to go for cigarettes, he left a time bomb on the seat beside him. How long before the time bomb will explode, we do not know. And as Kent, Lois, and Perry White sit talking in the cab, they themselves have no idea of their danger. Listen.
I won't stand for it. I'll report that driver to the company the first chance I get.
Now, Mr. White...
Don't do Mr. White me. That cab driver hasn't heard the last of this. Here we are, trying to make time to the airport. Seconds may mean the difference between catching that plane or missing it, and he has to stop to buy cigarettes.
Take it easy, Chief. We won't miss the plane. We've got plenty of time.
Now, if we miss that Oliver plane, we'll also miss the one waiting to take us to Lake Minto.
Now, look, Chief. We're about 5 minutes from the airport.
Yeah.
The driver will be back in less than a minute, and we've got more than 15 minutes to make the plane. And we can't possibly miss it.
Oh, what time is it?
Let's see. A little before 8 o'clock.
The Ottawa plane leaves at 8. No, it would take Superman to get us to that airport on time now.
Well, I might... Oh, look, Chief, you've made a mistake. The Ottawa plane doesn't leave until 8:15.
How do you know?
I remember looking it up.
Yeah, so did I. Well, it leaves at 8.
Oh, now, for heaven's sake, Chief, hold on to your blood pressure. Wait a minute. I noticed a paper sticking out of that cab driver's overcoat, and I think he left his coat on the front seat. Wait till I have a look.
Is the overcoat there?
Yes, but I don't see the newspaper. Probably the other pocket under the coat. Just a second.
As Clark Kent lifts the overcoat, the small box beneath it comes into view. A small black box, inside which is the deadly time bomb. Even as his eyes notice it, his ears pick up the ominous ticking of the time mechanism within the box. And at once he realizes the meaning of it. The bomb may go off at any moment. What can he do? How can he save them without revealing himself as Superman?
Lois, haven't you found that paper yet?
No, Lois, no. It doesn't seem to be here. I'll keep looking.
No, what does it matter? I tell you that plane left at 8 o'clock, and when I say left, I mean left. It must be after 8 now.
Wait, here's the paper.
Well, then, for heaven's sake, let's see it. We don't calm Mr. White soon.
I'll be able to read it better by the light of the dashboard here. Just a second while I find the travel section.
Oh, Clark, for heaven's sake, bring that paper back here where we can all see it.
Oh, wait just a second. I think I've got it now.
At that moment, as the deadly ticking reaches the point where he knows the bomb is about to explode, Kent snatches up the box and, holding it firmly in his two powerful hands, completely encases it. And not a split second too soon. For hardly has he covered the box when the bomb explodes harmlessly in his hands. Once again, Superman has triumphed.
Oh, what was that explosion?
Just a car backfiring. Clark, if you don't tell us when that plane leaves, I think I'll die. Clark, will you let me see that plane schedule?
I've already looked it up. The plane leaves at 8:15.
All right, George, we may be able to make it yet.
Well, come on. We haven't much time. I don't know what's happened to that driver. I guess we'd better get another cab. Here, Lois, I'll take that bag.
No, keep your hands off that bag, Clark.
What on earth?
That's my new airplane luggage.
Well, so
nice
what?
light color, and your hands, look at them. They're absolutely black.
What? Oh, they're covered with newsprint, I guess. I'm sorry, I forgot to wash them before I left the office.
And so, once again, Superman skillfully avoids revealing his identity to Lois and Editor White. Meanwhile, in his lavish apartment, the laugher is seated like some monstrous Buddha in a large modern chair, his eyes half closed, his hands folded over his expansive stomach. He is thinking. Stretched full length on a nearby couch is Bullets McGuire, who, although he looks like a tough gangster, is reading a book of fairy tales. He reaches the end of a story, sighs deeply, and gently closes the book.
That is the most beautiful fairy tale I have ever read.
Did you say something, Bullets?
Yeah, Laffer, I said I just finished the most beautiful fairy tale I ever read. What a pipperoo.
You never stop reading fairy tales, Bullets.
Oh, why should I, Laffer? They got everything else beat a mile. Now, take this one I'm just now finishing reading.
Yeah?
It's called Jack and a Beanstalk. Boy, what a jerk.
Who is a jerk, Bullets, and why?
Oh, this kid Jack. To begin with, his old lady tells him to take the cow to market and sell it for what dough he can get, see? So Jack starts off leading the beef on the hoof. And on the way to market, he meets a couple of local shills, see? A couple of coffee and crullers punk that take him butt for a ride.
Yes? How so?
Well, these two shills, you won't believe this. These shills buy the cow from Jack for a handful of colored beans. And he says to this Jack jerk, "Look, Junior, plant these beans and things will happen." It's like selling somebody the Brooklyn Bridge, the Golden Gate.
They plot thickens, as it were.
Yeah, thick. This guy Jack was one of the dumbest clock there ever is. Well,
He plants the beans, and the next morning, there's a beanstalk growing right up into the clouds. You get me?
I get you. Pray continue, Bullet.
Well, you know, come to think of it, maybe Jack wasn't such a dumb jerk after all. Because in the end, see, he cops all the giant stove for himself.
Oh, there's a giant in it, is there?
Oh, yeah, giant. And he had a hen which gives out with golden eggs.
I don't believe it.
Oh, it's all true.
I'm sorry, Bullets, but I simply cannot bring myself to believe anything quite so fantastic.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to take, ain't it? Yeah, but it's all true, Laffer. It's right here in the book, pictures and everything. Here, I'll show you. I'll get it. Hello, this is Jack. Hello. Oh, yeah, Sleepy. This is Bullet, yeah. Huh? Hello. Hello. Now, look, Sleepy, don't go to sleep in a telephone booth. Huh? Will you please stop yawning and talk? Oh. All right. Wait a minute. It's Sleepy, Laffer. He wants to chin with you.
Oh, yes. Hello, Sleepy. Is everything all right? What's that? Sleepy. For heaven's sake, stop yawning and tell me. Yes? Yes? They've left the cab. But that's impossible. Didn't the bomb go off? It didn't. Now, look here, Sleepy. Hello, Sleepy.
Something wrong, Laffer?
He fell asleep in the booth. I can hear him snoring. Oh, well. There are other things to think of now. White, Miss Lane, and Kent. They've escaped. And I've no doubt it's all due to the gentleman in the red cape and the blue suit. Superman.
Superman? He sounds like he might even be smarter than Jack, even.
Superman would make your Jack, and even your giant, look slightly ill. This Superman's an amazing fellow. He is so fast that he can stop a bullet in flight. So strong that he can move mountains. And he's intelligent as well.
Wow, what a combo, huh? What a combo.
Yes, he is. Quite a combination. For the very first time in my rather long and dangerous career, I've met an opponent worthy of me. The first 2 rounds go to Superman. But perhaps a third shall be mine. Much can happen between here and that hunting lodge in the Hudson Bay country. Much can happen, and will.
Now you're happy again, huh, Laffer? And that funny look, it ain't your face no more. Hey, Lefty, you want I should tell you the rest of the fairy story about Jack and his here beanstalk?
By all means, Bullet. By all means.
Yeah. Well, there's a giant living at the top of this beanstalk, see? So...
Well, Chief, after all your excitement, you see, we made the plane anyway.
Yes, it's good to sit back in the seat and relax. But I've got a funny feeling we're going to run into trouble before this trip is through.
Yes, I've got a feeling you're right.
Fasten your seatbelts, please. We're taking off. Fasten your seatbelts.
Matter, Clark? Getting cold feet again?
I can't help it if I'm the nervous type, can I?
No, I suppose not. Though it seems to me that you could... Well, never mind.
Well, here we go. On our way, Chief.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning we'll be in Ottawa, then on to the Hudson Bay country, and, well, heaven alone knows what.
Yes, Kent, I'm certainly anxious to find out what kind of trouble Sebastian was in. Must be pretty bad. Pretty bad. Otherwise, he'd... What? What in the world?
What's the matter, Mr. White? What's wrong?
No. Well, no, it isn't. It can't be. But, Lois, tell me that it isn't.
Mr. White, what on earth are you talking about?
No, I'll never be able to live through it. It isn't true. It can't be, I tell you. It can't be.
Well, what in the world has happened to upset Editor White again? What won't he be able to live through? Evidently something is wrong with the Ottawa-bound plane. What is it? Be sure to be with us for the next episode in this story of the North Woods. Listen tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Did you ever stop to think why American machine gun crews make such good scores in their battles against the Jap and Nazi hordes? Their teamwork, their super marksmanship comes from practice. Practiced every day until they can hit the bullseye practically every time. But that much practice eats up a lot of bullets. And that's just where you come in. You buy bullets for machine gunners every time you buy war stamps. 5 bullets for every 10-cent stamp. Get behind your team by buying stamps just as often as you can. Can you think of anything more exciting to buy for your dime than 5 .45 caliber bullets? 5 bullets for American soldiers to use in protecting your home from Jap or Nazi hordes. Get going. Get your stamps today and every day.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman, directed by George Lothar, and his copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
This is Mutual.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from another world who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. But before we join Superman, here is an important message.
Fellas and girls, somewhere in the Solomon Islands, there are a lot of big, tough, fighting Marines. And they're carrying guns that you may have helped to buy for them. That is, if you've been buying your share of war-saving stamps for victory. You see, every single dime you exchange for a war-saving stamp helps to buy the guns and bullets, the planes and bombs, the ships and the shells that are going to lick the Nazis and the Japs. Now, we know that all red-blooded Americans can't actually wear Uncle Sam's uniforms because some of us are too young or too old to join the Army or Navy. But there is one big important way we can help. We can buy war-saving stamps and bonds. We can lend our money to Uncle Sam and put weapons into the hands of American fighting men. Why, do you know that your dime spent for a war stamp is the same dime used to buy 5 .45 caliber bullets? I guess you know, too, and the Japs and the Nazis certainly do, what a soldier or sailor or Marine can do with just 5 bullets. And speaking of sailors, you might be interested to learn that every time you buy 5 war stamps, that same 50 cents buys enough fuel oil to carry a destroyer a full mile closer to its objective. Now, that makes buying war stamps pretty exciting, doesn't it? So look, let's make a promise to ourselves right now. Let's promise to buy war-saving stamps every week regularly. And you can help even more than that. You can get your friends and your mother and father and all the people you know to buy war stamps and bonds regularly. They'll want to help, too, when you explain to them how important it is for all of us to do our share to help our brothers and our friends in uniform. Now, our boys are going to win this war, and we've simply got to help them. So remember, every time that you've got a dime, buy a war-saving stamp.
And now, the adventures of Superman. Superman, in the guise of Clark Kent, Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet, and Lois Lane, girl reporter, are now safely on their way to visit Sebastian Beauvais, owner of a hunting lodge in the Hudson Bay region, in answer to his letter for help to Perry White. For some reason, as yet unknown to us, an evil character known as the Laugher does not want them to reach the hunting lodge. As our last episode ended, the Ottawa plane was just taking off when...
I've said it before, and I repeat it now. I wish you two weren't going on this trip. I've got a feeling we're going to run into trouble.
Oh, don't worry about us, Chief. We've been through plenty.
Nevertheless, I fail to see... Oh, no. No, it isn't so. It can't be. Lois, tell me it isn't.
Sorry, Mr. White. I'm afraid
No, it can't be. I tell you, it can't be.
Hello.
Oh, great heavens, it is.
Of course it is, Chief. It's Jimmy Olsen.
Glad to see me?
Glad to see you, Jim boy. Let me see. What exactly were my reactions when I first laid eyes on you? At first, a desperate panic seized me. I wanted to scream out.
Say, what's gotten into Mr. White?
And then I said to myself, no, this can't be so. That's not Jimmy Olsen. I'm imagining things, or perhaps I need new glasses. That's what I said to myself. And then you spoke. You said,
hello.
And then I knew it was you. And I wanted to jump out of the plane, you understand? I wanted to throw myself down and beat my head against the floor. I wanted to... Oh, but what does it matter? You're here now, and I can't get rid of you. You've done this to me, Kent, and you'll pay for it right now. You're fired, Kent.
Oh, Chief.
You're fired. Do you hear me? You're fired.
Okay, if that's the way you feel about it, I'll take a plane back from Ottawa tomorrow morning.
And take that freckle-faced troublemaker back with you.
Gosh, Mr. Kent. Oh, gosh, I didn't mean to get you fired.
Well, Jim, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
What do you mean, Clark?
Well, I'll take that job with Humphreys at the Daily Clarion. It means a 25% increase in pay, you know.
No. Just a moment, Kent. You can't do that.
But you just fired me, Mr. White. I'm no longer responsible to you or your newspaper. I join the staff of the Clarion tomorrow with a 25% increase.
Now, just hold on. I'll give you... No. I don't fall for the same trick twice. This is one time I fooled you. You're fired, Mr. Kent, and this time you'll stay fired.
That's okay with me. I didn't ask you to rehire me.
No, but you're trying to trick me into doing it.
Oh, you flatter yourself.
What's that?
Oh, now, please, you two. Everybody in the plane is looking at it. Look what I started.
Wherever you are, there's trouble. But don't try to change the subject.
I didn't try to...
Silence! Now, Kent, just what did you mean by that remark?
You said I was trying to trick you into rehiring me, and I said you flattered yourself.
What did you mean by it?
Oh, I meant simply that I'm fed up with working for you. Now that I'm free of you, I'm glad of it.
What?
And I'll tell you a few other things. Things that others don't dare tell you. You're a tyrant, Perry White.
What?
A mean, nasty-tempered, irascible, and thoroughly detestable tyrant.
Me?
You heard what I said. It's true, and it's about time you knew it. Take a look at yourself. Take a good look. You won't find it pleasant.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, I've never heard you talk this way before. I never have either.
Neither have I. I don't know what to say.
Well, the less said, the better, I guess. Jim, I'm sorry that our trip to Hudson Bay has turned out to be a fizzle.
Oh, gosh, that's okay, Mr. Kent. How in the world did Jimmy get aboard this plane, Clark?
Oh, well, when I left you this afternoon at the sporting goods store, Lois, I went to see about a reservation for Jimmy. I phoned him where to pick up his ticket and to meet us on the plane.
Well, I was glad to see you, Jimmy.
Well, thanks, Miss Lane. I'm glad someone was.
No trip would seem complete without you, Jim. You and Mr. Kent and myself, well, we're sort of becoming the Three Musketeers, you know. One for all and all for one.
You mean that, Lois?
What? Of course I mean it, certainly.
Rascal. Mean-tempered. No, nasty-tempered, he said.
What were we going to Canada for, Mr. Kent?
Our esteemed Mr. White got a letter which said, "Please come quick," signed Sebastian Beauvais, an old friend of Mr. White's, one of the few he has left.
Gosh, what do you suppose the trouble is?
No idea, Jim. No idea at all.
Kent.
Yes?
I've looked at myself.
Oh, yes?
Unpleasant, just like you said. You're right. I am mean and irascible and nasty-tempered.
Oh, now, Mr. White, you really aren't.
No, Kent's right. I ought to be horsewhipped.
Oh, gee, Mr. White.
Jimmy, Kent, Lois, can you ever forgive me?
Oh,
Mr.
And
White.
you particularly, Kent. Will you let bygones be bygones?
Why, sure, Chief.
Then you'll stay with the Daily Planet?
Sure.
Same salary?
Okay.
Huh? What are you all laughing about? What's so funny?
Don't you see, Mr. White?
I've fallen for the same trick again. I've been fooled into rehiring him. I suppose I'll never learn. Oh, well, let it pass. Forget it. No, I'm going to sleep. Wake me up when we land in Ottawa. That's what I said, mister. I'm the bush pilot you hired for this trip to Lake Minto, and if you're ready, we'll start now. Get your baggage.
Just a minute. We just got here. Is that the plane you're taking us in? The one anchored down there at the float?
You don't see no other plane in the immediate vicinity, do you?
No, but...
Well, if that's it, I must say I don't like the looks of it.
How old is that plane?
She's one of the first transports built back in 1920, and she's one of the best planes I ever flew. If you don't like the looks of her, I'm sorry. You can call the trip off if you want to.
Now, look here. When I hired you to fly me to Lake Minto, I never thought your plane was a wreck like that one. We'll be flying over uncharted wilderness. A crack-up would be fatal.
I've been bush piloting this plane since 1924, mister, and she's never had a serious crack-up yet, and I don't expect she ever will.
But golly, the wings have got patches all over them. And look, the open door on the side of the fuselage, it's sort of hanging off.
Yep, I got to put a new hinge on that door one of these here days.
Well, I'll be...
The question is, are we going to fly in that thing or not?
Well, is there any other way of getting to Lake Minto, Mr. White?
If there is, I don't know about it.
Well, then I guess it's this plane or nothing.
All right, we'll take a chance.
And get your baggage and get aboard, and we'll get started at once. On account, I think there's a fog setting in, and the quicker we get going, the better.
Now, wait a minute. You make a habit of flying in a fog?
Can't make a habit of it, young fellow. On account there ain't enough fog, but I fly fog or no fog. If it scares you, you can stay behind.
Oh, come on, Kent. We may as well get aboard. Here, I'll take some of the bags. Would you mind helping us?
I'm a pilot, not a porter, mister, but I'll give you a hand on account I'm that anxious to get started. And the quicker we get the baggage aboard, the faster we'll take off. Give me that small bag.
Here you are. Don't strain yourself.
Is it heavy?
No, not really.
I've got it. Just follow me, all of you, down this gangplank to the plane and watch your step on account the landing kind of slippery. There we are now. Just be careful getting into the plane. Don't grab hold of that busted door. It may come off.
Well, nothing matters, really, unless we fall through the bottom of the plane.
Oh, get in, Clark. For heaven's sake, get in.
Yeah, very well. I'll sit down over here and be all right. Yeah, if you'll just let me get to the pilot's seat, I'll start her up. We'll take off for Lake Minto.
Sure, don't let me stand in your way.
I've had a self-starter put in just to keep up with the times a bit, and she works fine. You just watch and see.
That sounds fine. Just like a real plane.
Gosh, I'm beginning to wish I'd never come on this trip.
Don't lose your nerve, Jim.
Well, I'm not, but golly. Uh-oh. This plane has got to give out sometime or other, and this may be the time.
Well, let's hope it isn't. Well, it looks as if we're about ready for the takeoff.
That's right, young fellow, we are, but I just want to see everything in good working condition.
Oh, optimist, isn't he?
How long will it take us to get to Lake Minto?
Oh, 6 hours or thereabouts. The crow flies.
Well, how about as we fly?
About the same.
Oh.
Flaps seem to work a little stiff on account, I guess they're kind of rusty. I ain't oiled the cables like I've intended to.
Yes, you'll have to do that, I guess, one of these here days.
Yeah. Well, hold your seats, everybody. We're ready for the takeoff. Are you all set? Then here we go. There, we're in the air.
Well, amazing. I didn't think it could be done.
I didn't either. Now I've seen everything.
Well, the question in my mind is, how long do we stay in the air?
Don't worry none about that, mister, on account I've made this same trip in this here same plane hundreds of times. I ain't never had a serious accident yet.
Yeah, but there's always a first time for everything, you know.
No, stop worrying and just sit back and enjoy the trip. We've got some pretty wonderful scenery ahead of us. Mountains and wilderness such as you've never seen before.
I'll sit back, but I won't relax. And frankly, the thought of your mountains and wilderness doesn't make me feel particularly happy. And so... What's that?
Something's wrong with the motor.
Now, just don't get excited, folks. Sometimes this happens on account I ain't checked her over in a long time, but it usually passes off.
Well, that doesn't sound to me as if it's going to pass off. Oh, wait. Look. There are flames shooting out of the motor.
Holy mackerel, we're going to burn up.
Look, the fuselage is starting to catch fire.
Heavens for the smoke. I can't understand this. It ain't never happened before.
We're nosing over.
We're going to crash. We're going to crash right into the river.
Hey, heavens, we'll be drowned or burned alive. This ship is going up like a bale of hay.
Mr. Kent.
Steady, Jim. For heaven's sake, steady.
What do we do, Clark? What do we do?
Nothing. We're going to crash.
If we hit this straight, we'll dive straight to the bottom. And those flames, that smoke.
Here it comes, the river. We're going to crash.
Screaming through space, the flaming plane dives toward the river, carrying all on board with it. For some strange reason, Clark Kent has thus far made no effort to assume his role of Superman and save the plane before it plunged headlong to its doom. Why is he waiting? And has he waited too long? Be sure to hear tomorrow's episode when once again that strange, fearful character known as the Laugher puts in another appearance. Yes, be sure to listen tomorrow and every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Yes, be sure to tune in again tomorrow for another thrilling Superman episode. And don't forget what else you're going to do. You're going to buy war stamps as often as you can get Mother or Dad to give you a dime. Now, you know when you see that big capital S on a three-cornered shield, you recognize it as the emblem of Superman, and you know at once what it stands for. Likewise, when you see the capital letters U.S. on a war-saving stamp or bond, you recognize them as the emblem of Uncle Sam, and it represents a pledge from Uncle Sam to you. His pledge to use every dime you lend him when you buy war-saving stamps for more bullets and guns and planes and all the other things the American armed forces need to win a smashing victory from the Nazis or the Japs. So don't put off buying war stamps. Uncle Sam is depending on you.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look! Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's Superman!
Follow the adventures of Superman every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. This is Mutual.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise ship. Blast off minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0! Blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. 500 million miles out in the cold, black depths of space, a small rocket scout blasts across the invisible path marking the orbit of Jupiter on course to Earth. In the narrow cylindrical cockpit forward near the nose of the silvery ship, the pilot transmits a routine teleceiver call across the void. And in a small metal hut on Mars, the sleepy-eyed operator shakes himself awake as the call crackles in his earphones.
Space Station M5 from Rocket Scout 4J9. Come in.
Rocket Scout 4J9 from Space Station M5. Go ahead.
4J9, Space Mail Service, direct colony to Earth.
Position?
Crossing orbit of Jupiter, northwest 100, 5 degrees over plane of the ecliptic. Holding course 160. Just breathe it.
Parker, what's wrong with you? Parker, come in. Hello, Parker. Can you hear me? Parker. Rocket Scout 4J9 from Space Station M5. Come in. Great, Ganymede. M5 to all space stations. M5 to all space stations. Stand by. Disaster alert. Stand by.
Here's the story, Captain Strong. 2 days ago, Captain Mitch Parker was inbound from Titan on the Earth-Titan mail run. He made routine teleceiver contact with Space Station M5 on Mars to get position and standard data. Suddenly, contact was broken for some unknown reason. We haven't been able to raise him since.
Any search operations underway, Commander Arkwright?
Of course. I sent all patrol ships into the area immediately. Even pulled rocket liners and space freighters off orbit. But they haven't found a trace of Parker or his ship.
Well, it's only been 2 days, sir.
I realize that. The ships that are looking for Parker now have to be released. I'm organizing a full-scale rescue operation to begin tomorrow. Do you think your cadet crew is experienced enough for an assignment like this?
For the Polaris crew? Of course, sir. It'll be a long and difficult search, Strong.
Even dangerous.
Don't worry about them, sir. Tom Corbett, Astro, and Roger Manning are the best cadets in the Academy. In spirit, teamwork, and cooperation, they excel at...
Excuse me, Strong.
Yes, sir.
Come in. Polaris unit reporting, sir.
Great Jupiter. Tom, what happened to you?
What happened to all of them? They look like they've been through a reaction chamber.
Well, Tom?
The officer of the day told us to report to you for disciplinary action, Commander Arkwright.
Disciplinary action? What's the charge?
We're charged with fighting and wrecking the furniture in our dormitory, sir.
I see. Well, Captain Strong, so this is your Polaris crew. Is this what you call teamwork, spirit, and cooperation?
Well, boys, I managed to square it with Commander Arkwright for you. He won't take any disciplinary action until this mission is over.
Oh, that's great, Captain Strong. Swell, I knew you'd come through for us.
But now I want to know what this is all about.
Why,
Who started it this time? Well, I'm waiting for an answer.
Sir, I think I can explain.
I'd be interested in something like that, Corbett. Well?
Astro and Roger had a difference of opinion, and I tried to settle it, and Roger disagreed with me, and Astro disagreed too, and, well, I disagreed with both of them, and the next thing I knew, the bunk fell on Astro and the table was knocked over, and...
And you just tore your uniform, and Roger happened to grow that black eye, and Astro accidentally cut his lip.
I guess so.
All right. Now get this, all of it. The next time I catch the three of you fighting, I'm going to make earthworms out of you. You'll do all your rocketeering in the mess hall with a bucket and mop. You understand?
Right, Captain.
All right. Dismissed. Oh, what a crew. Captain Strong here.
This is Commander Arkwright.
Oh, yes, sir.
Alert your crew for immediate blast-off.
Immediate? But I thought you said...
One of the space raiders found a trace of reaction mass between Jupiter and the asteroid belt.
From Parker's ship?
No way of telling yet. But if he jettisons his fuel, he may be in serious trouble and completely helpless. You've got to work fast if you're going to save him.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Listen to this jet plane streak through the air. That's a Republic Thunderjet up on a test flight. Jets like that are pioneers of the sky, leading the way to the air age of tomorrow. And the men who fly those jets are pioneers, too, blazing a trail for youth to follow. Would you be able to fly a jet? Well, maybe not right now, but you can build yourself up so that you'll be ready when the time comes. And one important thing to do right now is to have a good, nourishing breakfast every single morning with Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Then, while you're thinking about flying jets, you can be taking on the builder-upper food values that jet pilots must have to do a good job. So start now. Eat plenty of Kellogg's Pep. Get all the strength and muscle-building food values that Pep can give you. And say, when you taste that swell Pep flavor, you want a second bowlful. Ask Mom to get the better-than-ever build-up cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. And listen for news about the swell prize you get in every package of Kellogg's Pep in just a few minutes.
Attention, crew. We've cleared Earth's atmosphere on course to asteroid belt.
The giant search operation has begun. The search through the vast reaches of space for a missing rocket scout. And now, as the rocket cruiser Polaris blasts through the void at full space speed, Captain Strong briefs his cadet crew.
Now, according to the last report from Central Control, traces of reaction mass have been found near the asteroid belt. Mass that might have been jettisoned from Captain Parker's ship.
Jettisoned, Captain? Or would there have been a leak in the hull?
No, that remains to be seen. In any case, the Vega, the Hydra, and the 3 rocket destroyers are already tracking down the mass. We're going to take a shortcut.
What do you mean, shortcut, sir?
Corbett, if you were on a rocket scout ship and developed trouble, what would you do?
Well, if I couldn't repair it in space, I'd call for help.
You need it. Cut that, Manning. Now, if your communications were destroyed, what would you do?
Well, I'd try to set down somewhere and see if I could repair her.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be logical to assume that that's what Captain Parker did?
But where could he land, sir? The only space junk of any size around here is in the asteroid belt.
Right, Astro. And we're going to go through the asteroid belt and look for him.
Through it? Oh, brother, this is going to be rough.
No, rough isn't the word, Manning, but I think it's our best bet.
I guess you're right, Captain.
If the ship can take it, we can, sir.
All right. You can relax for a while now. Maintain your usual 4-hour deck watches until we reach our search position. I'm going topside to contact Commander Arkwright for further orders. And, by the way, in case you don't remember, Academy regulations hold good on shipboard. No fighting.
Yes, sir.
Lucky thing for you guys. What do you mean, Roger? That no fighting order. I'd like to wrap you guys up good.
Oh, now listen, Roger. Have you still got that chip on your shoulder? Let's forget it. We were all off our orbit.
No, Junior, only you. We're all in the same unit, so I have to ride along with you. But that doesn't mean I like
Why,
it.
you big sorehead.
Hold it,
Astro. Look, for the last time, Roger, you're making too much of this. Astro didn't mean what he said, and neither did I. So how about shaking hands and forgetting it?
Tom is willing. So am I. Fellas, I got a hot space flash for you. Go blow your jets.
Control deck to radar bridge. Check in.
Radar bridge ready.
How are we doing, Manning?
Moving into the asteroid belt, sir. Pretty thick out there. My scanner screen's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Don't worry about the small pieces of space junk. We can shed those. It's the big stuff we have to avoid.
But don't worry, sir. I can play tag with these asteroids all day.
Now, don't get smart, Manning. One of those chunks of iron can rip a hole in our side and tear us apart. End transmission. Now, Tom, call Astro. Tell him to cut down to 1/4.
Aye, sir. Control deck to power deck.
Power deck, aye.
Astro, cut space speed 1/4. We're going to cut straight across the asteroid belt.
1/4 space speed, aye.
Tom, turn on the magnoscope and watch every passing asteroid big enough to hold a spaceship.
Aye, sir.
We're taking a long chance on a slim hope.
Radar bridge control deck. There's a big one bearing down on us. Shift steering vanes 2.2 starboard, 1 degree up.
Hear that, Astro?
Got it, Tom.
Steering vane set. Give us a short blast, Astro.
Right, Tom.
There she goes, sir. We missed her.
Get a good look at it, Tom.
Yes, sir. There was no ship on that space hobo.
They're coming fast, Captain Strong. 2 of them bearing down on us. You'll have to walk a tightrope between them. Hold steering vanes 1.6 to port.
Steering vanes set. Blast away, Astro.
Hang on.
Oh, that was a little too close.
No rocket ship on either one of those babies, sir.
Oh, this is a space-happy thing to do, but no, we're too deep in it now to turn back. I'm risking 4 lives and a rocket cruiser on a 1,000,000 to 1 shot.
If we find Captain Parker, it'll be worth it, sir.
Sure, but will our luck hold out?
Radar bridge control deck. Here comes the daddy of them all. Swinger wide. 12.4 degrees to port, 5 degrees up.
12.4 degrees to port, 5 degrees up. Astro, don't spare the neutrons. A long blast this time.
Hold tight, opening up.
Are we clearing it?
Yes, sir. Hold on. Here comes another one. We can't touch this one. Brace yourself to crash. Brace yourself.
Oh, Tom, are you all right?
I'm seeing stars of the 5th magnitude.
Yeah, I'm seeing a few myself. You better call Astro and Roger.
Aye, sir. Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Check in. I'm ready to check out.
Astro's okay, sir.
All right, Astro. Go over the power deck for damage.
Aye, sir.
Control deck to radar bridge. Check in. Any damage up there?
Now, that's a real intelligent question. We get clobbered up by a meteor and he asks if there's any damage. Tell the skipper all our communications are out. Scanners, teleceiver, radar, scopes, everything.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. So it looks like we're sitting pretty, doesn't it? Flying through the asteroid belt, completely blind.
boys. I've checked the ship completely. Outside of the blackout on the radar bridge, we're still in one piece.
Yeah, but how about that blackout, sir? We're sitting ducks for every piece of space junk in the belt.
Well, not since we've cut our power, Roger. We're drifting in a steady orbit now, along with all the other space junk. Chances are we won't be hit, unless we try to break out.
Yeah, but if we don't break out, Skipper, we'll drift around in this junkyard forever. We can't even call for help.
Well, the damage is to the antenna and the main power relay. The relay can be fixed up inside the ship, but the antenna means a trip outside on the hull.
Oh, brother, nothing I like better than waltzing around in space.
Well, start practicing right now, then, Roger. You, Astro, and I are going outside. Tom, you'll stay in here and work on the relay.
Aye, sir.
All right. Suit up, boys, and meet me in the airlock in 2 minutes.
Here, Roger. Let me help you with your helmet.
Don't bother, I can do it myself.
All right, hot shot. Have it your way.
And listen, you be careful you don't fall off the hull. I don't feel like fishing you out of space.
All right, boys. Now that you've got your fish bowls on, check your oxygen tanks for twice normal pressure.
Oxygen check. Okay, sir. Okay, here too, sir.
Right. Let's go. Open the portal, Astro.
Inner portal closed, sir.
Equalize pressure.
Pressure equalized, sir.
Open the outer portal, Manning.
Aye, sir.
Let's go. Hook up your static lines as soon as you're on the hull. And remember, keep your magnetic boots flat against the hull.
Hello, Astro. Manning, check in.
What do you want, Junior?
What's taking so long? What's going on out there, Roger?
We're playing marbles with these pieces of space junk. Go back to your building up and don't bother us.
Hand me that wrench, Astro, and those adapters.
Right, sir. But what's happened to all the space junk? Seems awful empty out here.
Yeah, we may have drifted through the worst of it.
I don't know. It's too quiet after all the battering we took.
Hand me that number 3 adapter, Astro.
Yes, sir. You know, I'll never get used to working upside down like this and not falling off.
Free fall has its advantages. And one of them is having no weight.
Getting strong. Astro, get down! Quick! Here comes the meteor! Get down!
By the craters of Luna, that was a close one.
Yes, too close. Now listen, Manning. If you'd stop gassing so much and keep your eyes peeled with... Roger.
Captain Strong, the static line is torn. Look, he's off the ship. He's drifting out into space.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by. It's here. Yes, it's here. A brand new, exciting new premium in every package of Kellogg's Pep. And it's waiting for you right this instant at your grocery store.
That's right, boys and girls. In every box of Kellogg's Pep, there's a magic moving picture eye. The magic eye is a gleaming plastic disc. And right in the center, there's an exciting picture. When you tilt the magic eye back and forth, the picture actually starts moving. There are pictures of planes, trains, and TV and movie stars like Tom Corbett and Bob Hope of Paramount Pictures and The Bob Hope Show.
Yes, sir. Every magic eye has a picture that's packed with famous people in action. You can collect as many as 16 different magic eyes. 16 different pictures altogether. So easy to get, too. There's one waiting for you now, free, at no extra cost, in every single package of Kellogg's Pep. You'd better start your collection today.
Remember, for your magic eye, ask Mom to buy P-E-P. Pep.
Rocket cruiser Polaris making emergency repairs in space, Roger Manning is suddenly swept off and sent spinning helplessly into the void.
Look, Captain Strong. There he goes, drifting down along the hull.
Listen, Astro, call Tom. Quick. Tell him to bring out a body jet. Hurry. I'm going down to the fins. Maybe I can catch him.
Right, sir. Hello, Tom. Tom, come in.
Right here, Astro. How's it going?
Listen, Roger's been knocked off the ship. He's drifting out in space.
Great jumping Jupiter.
Captain Strong wants you to bring out a body jet.
Oh, no. By the time I suit up and get out there with a body jet, Roger will be out of sight. We'll never find him.
What else can we do?
Wait. I've got an idea. I'm going to maneuver the ship toward him.
What?
Hang on out there. I'm firing up our rocket.
Oh, brother. Spaceman's luck, pal.
Who fired our rockets?
Tom did, sir. He's maneuvering the ship toward Roger. He figures it's Roger's only chance.
Oh, that's risky. He might fry Roger in the exhaust blast. No, but maybe it's the better gamble.
Better hold on, sir. I'm starting to cut around.
Hello, Tom. Come in.
Yes, sir.
Watch your heading. Don't over-control or you'll spin us completely around.
Doing my best.
Now, ease off now. Hold her straight and level as you can. You're heading right for Roger.
You and Astro have to get him on the first pass, sir.
I know, and we'll do it. You've cut your power. Now, let her drift.
Right, sir.
Captain Strong, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him by at least 10 feet.
Blast it. Tom, quick.
Oh, wait a minute, sir. Play out my static line. I'm going to push off and try to grab him.
Wait, Astro.
Hang on to my line, sir. Here I go.
How's Roger now, Captain Strong? Will he be okay?
Yes, Tom, he'll be all right. Just suffering from shock. Those blood pills will fix him up fine.
Hey, he's coming out of it.
What's going on here? What am I doing in this bunk? You were knocked off the ship, Roger.
Me? Uh-huh, and we had to fish you out of space.
You're full of meteor dust.
Well, it's the truth, Manning. If it hadn't been for Tom and Astro, you'd be a part of the asteroid belt now. Just another piece of space junk.
Yeah, I suppose I would. And Tom and Astro,
That's right, Manning. Now, you just rest there. I'm going topside and start plotting our course out of here. Tom, Astro, you stay with him.
I don't need anybody staying with me. I'm okay.
You're not getting out of that bunk. We need all personnel in top condition. But don't forget, we still have to find Captain Parker. I'll see you later, boys.
You want something, Roger?
No, tell me something.
Yeah?
What did we have that fight about?
Uh-oh, here we go again. Does it make that much difference, Roger?
No, that's what I was driving at. It doesn't make any difference at all. And, I'm not very good at saying these things, but what you guys did for me and all,
cut it out, will you, Manning? You'll have me crying.
Yeah. Relax and act natural, will you?
Go blow your jets.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom, Corbett, and the Space Cadets on Thursday, when the search for Captain Parker and the missing rocket scout is resumed, and the boys rocket into danger. Tune in, same time, same station, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast are Al Markham as Astro, Jan Merlin as Roger Manning, and Edward Bryce as Captain Strong. Today's program was written by Jack Weinstock and Willie Gilbert, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes, both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape. Transcribed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are groping your way through the belly of a sunken ship, a fortune and pearls secured to your belt, while above on the ship that tends you, working the pump that sends air to you, is an adversary whose plans include the taking of your pearls and your life.
Listen now as Escape brings you John Russell's story, The Adversary.
It was at dusk, and on an ebb tide, that the purling schooner Fancy Free came smartly up into the wind and dropped anchor in the harbor of Thursday Island. And it was after dark when her master came ashore and paid off his Kanaka crew. He was a big man, this captain, with a crop of black hair, a smooth, long jaw, and gray eyes. As he went swinging along the waterfront, the crowd parted right and left before him. Now, news of any arrival travels fast on Thursday Island. And with such a figure as this, the conversation at the Portuguese bar had been going on for some time.
One thing I know for certain, he's got the trimmest lugger in these parts. And where's he from, Smike? First time I ever laid eye on him or his boat was this evening.
If he was from these parts, Portuguese, Captain Smike would know him.
Well, wherever he from, he'd be like the rest of you, up to no good. Oh, you've no use for pearlers, have you, Portuguese? You're all cut from the same cloth. Thieves, drunkards, brawlers, and worse. Ah, you fat devil. You're no better than the worst of us. I know and can account for my shortcomings. It is not so with you, who make a living like so many sea gypsies.
What's he saying, Captain Smike?
Alf, drink your drink.
I only wanted to know.
The stranger, Smike. He's another pearler, perhaps. Yes, he could be. I'll find out more when he comes for his rum. Pour me a drink, Portuguese. And one for little Alfie. There. A toast to Thursday Island.
Thursday Island.
Where the only honest man to grace its shores came by land. You there! It's a bar.
Cool. Look at the size of that one.
My name is Smike, if it's me you're talking to.
My name is Weatherby. John Weatherby. I'm master of the Fancy Free.
That's the lugger in the harbor, ain't it?
And so, Captain Weatherby?
I've come to spend some time with you.
Captain Weatherby, what is your pleasure?
But first I'll have my say.
That's your right.
A moment back you drank a toast to which I take exception.
That's so.
You said the only honest man on Thursday Island came by land.
I did.
Now then, I don't mind what you call yourselves to yourselves. As long as I'm in your midst, anyone that says I'm not honest and can't prove it, I'll knock the 7 bells out of him.
Since you're a stranger here, Weatherby, I'll tell you something. I'm senior captain on Thursday Island, and I say what I wish when I wish. And it's like I said before. The only honest man on Thursday Island came...
Yummy. He never even got it said.
You, little fella, go give your friend a hand. He'll need help for a while yet.
My name is Elf, and I ain't finished my drink.
Go.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'll have that rum.
Right away, Captain Weatherby.
Now, on Thursday Island, there was no prying into a neighbor's affairs unless one was prepared to push the inquiry with a knife. And so it was that nobody questioned where Weatherby came from, or his pearling license, or the motley crew he picked to replace the skilled Kanaka boys he'd let go. His new cook was Chinese, his head diver a Manila man, and his mate a giant North African who went by the name of Buttermilk. But questions or no, as the months passed, a legend was growing about Captain Weatherby.
Oh, he'd chase you right across the Pacific to pay you tuppence he might owe you. That's his sort.
You never had tuppence in your life, Alfie. 5 nights ago, he was in here, and he drank 5 hard cases under the table. And when they left, he squared the whole bill himself.
Honest Weatherby, they call him.
Honest Weatherby, he's up to something. They say nothing but good about him.
You're right as rain, Portuguese. Last month he stayed in quarantine voluntary-like, just because of that island steamer and the cholera scare.
Then paid his crew their monthly wages anyway.
His crew? A good master wouldn't allow one of them to set foot on deck.
Well, they ain't been exactly trained by the Queen's Navy.
What I want to know is this. Why's he got the fastest lugger in these parts manned by that collection of trash? You still hold that blow against Weatherby, Smite. But he's all right.
Harbour authorities, pilots, and other masters, and the whole lot. They all like
I
him.
don't. Listen, that will be the Brisbane steam.
It's trying to get her bloody passengers back aboard. She sails at midnight.
Australia. I wish I was going. I'd like to see Australia again.
Yes, they'd probably like to see you, too.
Oh, now, Captain.
Like as not, it's her pilot the Fernshaw's blowing for. Pilot? Ever since she put in here, Weatherby and that ship's pilot been trying to drink the island dry.
I wonder where he is now.
Down at the docks, like as not. Pouring his pilot friend aboard the steamer. Another rum, Portuguese. And another for little Alfie.
And in truth, Weatherby was down at the docks, his coat turned up against the squalls that were blowing wet from the ocean. He was standing in the shadows by some packing crates, watching from a distance the yellow cargo flares that showed the loading of the Fernshaw was still in progress. Then, just as Captain Weatherby was turning away, another figure slipped from the shadow and moved to confront him.
Captain Weatherby?
Yes?
I'll take halvers, if you please, Captain Weatherby.
What?
I said halvers. Now, don't move, Captain. I've got you well covered, and I'm not afraid to shoot.
Deacon! After all these years, the Deacon. Bless me if I didn't think I'd done you in.
I should have died, but I didn't. No thanks to you.
And what are you doing on Thursday Island?
I dropped in from Samurai, meaning to catch the Brisbane steamer.
Huh?
I've been doing some diving up the way, but I'm only a fair diver, and my luck's been poor. Until tonight.
Until tonight? And why the change, little beetle?
Because I chanced to see you, my old friend. And I was strolling along the front, and I made inquiries, and I heard what they call you in these parts. Honest Weatherby.
Why, you wasp. You have it in mind to blow on me?
To tell what I know of you and have you go to jail, not a chance. That would do me no good.
What then?
I just want half of your new speculation. Your latest deviltry.
What makes you think I've got a plan, Deacon?
Well, do you think I couldn't smell it out? I know your methods too well. Fine public character, no suspicion, alibi all complete. Yes, and I also know you sneaked your crew out of town tonight. Your lugger's ready to slip cable this minute. And, most important, I happen to know what the Fernshaw's carrying aboard of this trip.
Oh, the devil you do.
The season sweep of pearls, £20,000 worth.
Suppose I was after those pearls. How would I get them?
That's for you to do, and me to profit by.
Ah, so you let me do the dirty, and then take ours.
That's right, Captain Honest Weatherby.
Blast me if it isn't hard to know whether you're with me or against me, Deacon.
Thus saith the Lord, an adversary there shall be, and he shall bring down thy strength from thee.
All All right then, Deacon, I'll put up with your blackmail and piracy. And I'll take you on as an adversary. And you'll be part of the enterprise.
Good. And now, Weatherby, tell me this. How are you to get the pearls that are aboard the steamer there? Eh?
I shall have to dive for them, Deacon.
Dive for them?
And like it or not, since you've declared yourself in, you'll be a party to it.
You mean you're going to sink her?
That's exactly what I mean, Deacon. Within 2 hours of sailing, the Fern Shore will be resting on the bottom of the passage.
You are listening to The Adversary, tonight's presentation of Escape. It's back again. It's Saturday daytimes on CBS Radio. It's Romance. Romance every Saturday on most of these same stations, bringing you the world's great love stories. Some new, some old, all fascinating adventures in listening. The story this Saturday, Daphne du Maurier's celebrated novel, Frenchman's Creek, dramatizes the love of a noblewoman for a pirate. And now, Escape, and the second act of The Adversary.
Within half an hour, the little lugger Fancy Free was standing out to sea. The master, Captain Weatherby, and a small and shivering passenger sheltered in the lee of the deck house. The deacon had wanted in on the profit, but he had hardly counted on mass murder as a means to it. One man's death he might have countenanced, but to murder a steamer was something else.
Weatherby, you can't do it. You can't drown a whole ship's company.
Did you ever hear the Volga, the Cadet, or the Mecca? Well, they all fell a trifle off the track. Their bottoms were ripped out on Tribulation Shoal. Now, the same thing might happen to the Fern Shore.
But how? There's a light on Tribulation Shoal.
So there is. It's a fourth-order fixed dioptric, unattended. Now, suppose that light were moved.
But like you say, it's fixed.
Yeah.
And besides, the keeper lives only a mile away on Horn Island. You couldn't move it.
Suppose a man were to land on the lee of Tribulation Shoal, and with a canvas, blanket the light to westward. Now, if that same man were to take a discarded lightship lantern that he might have aboard his lugger, and after anchoring some half-mile away, show this light at his masthead, what then?
What? You're mad, Weatherby.
You begin to see the possibility for error?
You really are going to wreck her.
Well, I am, Deacon.
You wouldn't. You dared.
Captain.
What is it?
Fix up head. Can hear.
How far?
Close, very close.
Deacon, get below. We're at Tribulation Shoal, and there's man's work to be done yet tonight.
Weatherby.
Get below. Buttermilk!
Captain.
How close now to the south?
200-300 yards.
Have the helm put over, Buttermilk, and drop a hook. We're going ashore to have a look at Tribulation Light.
Now, it is a fact that no one knows or is ever likely to know the actual explanation for the wreck of the Brisbane steamer, which left Thursday Island and came to grief some 2 hours later on Tribulation Shoal. But the records declare that she went clean off her course, and a coral reef laid her open as neatly as a butcher's knife lays open a carcass. She sank within 5 minutes. The next morning, as the dawn spread an iridescence over those waters, Captain Weatherby anchored his lugger between the tips of the two sunken masts.
All right, Buttermilk. Get my equipment ready.
I get diving suit.
Well, Deacon, you'll note for yourself there's not a trace of evidence. We've not been spied. The lantern we used is sunk, the canvas destroyed, and Tribulation Light as it was before.
You're evil, Weatherby. Pure evil.
Deacon, is there so much difference between a lot and a little? Come now, Deacon, cheer up. Here we are, and there are the pearls. 20,000 pounds worth of them, just oversized.
No, I don't want any part of it.
And within 3 hours, I'll be back out on the pearling banks about my business, never having heard of the wreck.
Captain, you strap diving shoes.
Next week, or any time I choose, I'll be walking the streets of Thursday near the news. And who will be as surprised as Captain Weatherby, that hard-working man. Honest Weatherby, with a fortune in his belt to dispose at leisure.
All ready now. Put helmet, Captain.
Yes, Deacon. I've not a problem in the world. Except you.
Me? Why me?
You are evidence. This stinking crew doesn't matter. I've kept them too befuddled to know what's happening, but you could be Queen's evidence. I'm not forgetting you.
Hey, but, now, listen to me, Weatherby. I want no part of...
What kind of an adversary do you call yourself, Deacon? I'd hope for some sport from you. Now, come below, Deacon. Now is the time to change your luck. Come below, once and for all.
No, I won't go down with you, not down there.
Well, you're a diver, aren't you, Deacon?
I can't, not in that ship, I can't.
Oh, blast it, Deacon. I thought at least you'd be amusing. Yeah, very well. When I come back, I'll knock your silly head in.
Captain, you want a helmet?
One thing, Buttermilk.
Yes, Captain.
You see that fellow white man? Maybe he wants to go below. Good. You give him other suit.
Yes, Captain.
Maybe he touch pump or raise fuss. You knock 7 bells out of him. Otherwise, no order. You savvy?
I savvy, Captain.
Good. Now help me with the helmet.
Yes. Put on now. You okay now, Captain?
You murderer! You filthy murderer, Weatherby!
Captain, no here. Not in helmet. You white fella, move away. Captain, go waterside now. You fella pump plenty good. Captain need much air.
Listen, you, I've got to talk to you.
Captain say you no good.
Look, I'll give you money. Anything, just cut those lines.
Captain, die we cut line. No bleed down there.
Yes, that's right, he'll die, but I'll pay you more than he will.
Line stop moving, Captain, on ship now.
What about it? You want money?
No.
What do you want? And I give you anything you say, just cut those lines and leave him.
White fella, no good.
But don't you understand? He'll kill me after he gets those pearls and comes up.
Captain say no order.
Huh? You've got to listen
Go
to
away.
me. Look, put me in the longboat, turn me loose. I'll take my chance in the open sea rather than with him. I can't stay here.
You stay.
No, I won't. I won't just wait here like a fool for him to come up and kill me when he pleases. I'll go down below there with him first and fight it out.
You want out of dive suit? Go waterside.
I don't know. I don't know. I've got to think.
You nothing. Black fella boy, pump good. Captain needs plenty air down there.
And down below, everything went exceeding fine for Captain Weatherby. In a matter of 20 minutes or less, he had found the strongbox, broken it open with an iron bar, filled his canvas sack with pearls, and was making his way back towards the companionway through which he had entered the ship. The light was getting stronger as he came back. Then suddenly he stopped. A dim form was facing him. A man as tall as himself, clad in a diving rig. And Weatherby was smiling as he thought,
Same type helmet as mine. Same shape. Only other like that is on Fancy Free. What? By all that's holy. Oh, it's the Deacon. So you come down, Deacon, after all. So you're going to dispute the prize with me, eh? Claim your vengeance. All right. I was going to kill you one way or the other. One crack on your helmet with this bar, Deacon, and your eardrums are gone. You'll be just an unfortunate diver who drowned while working. But at least you've proved an adversary worth his salt. Now, I'm moving at you, Deacon. Good. You move too, eh? We're going to fight it out. Good. A little closer. That's it. Now I'll split your skull.
Another bottle of rum, Portuguese. I'm cold clean through to the marrow.
5 days out there at the wreck, and no thanks from anybody.
Not even from the man you brought back? Him? He's crazy as a tick.
Calls himself a deacon, a man of the cloth. Look at him over there, sitting alone at the table, talking to himself. Scripture.
But what of Captain Weatherby? They said you found his lugger anchored over the wreck. There was 2 people could have told us that story. One was a deacon, as he calls himself, and the other a great hulk of a West African, and he went down after Weatherby never come up. You need gear to go that deep.
That bleeding crew couldn't manage a word between the lot of them.
Hold out.
He hideth his wrong in his heart. Let him be snared in his own pit. In the net which he hid is his own foot taken. Lord, break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man.
Oh, poor fool. He don't know what he's about. Mate, tell me, what of Weatherby? They found him down the wreck. The pearls all in a great sack tied to his diving belt. And he was drowned. Drowned? His suit had been cut to ribbons by shards of broken glass. He was drowned for fair, right inside of his suit. But the glass, mate. What was the glass? Oh, a broken mirror. A mirror? It served as a facing for the saloon door leading out of the companionway.
It's like he stopped to take a look at himself. Just that one last time.
Well, a toast to Captain Weatherby. Rest his soul. The only honest man who came by sea to curse the island.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you The Adversary by John Russell, specially transcribed for radio by Mr. MacDonald. Featured in the cast were Lawrence Dobkin, John Daner, and Ben Wright, with Alec Harford, Charlie Lung, and Barney Phillips. The narrator was Vic Perrin. Your announcer, George Walsh. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens. Next week.
You are running through the alleys of a Mediterranean village, the blackness of the Italian night confusing you, while somewhere in the dark behind you, coming closer as they search for you, are a man and a beautiful woman who mean to take your life.
So listen next week when Escape brings you Kathleen Height's story, An Ordinary Man. This Sunday night, Lionel Barrymore opens the doors to the Hall of Fame, turning the spotlight on another little-known drama of American history, whose workings were instrumental in shaping the nation's destiny. Empire builders, dreamers with high ideals, men and women whose pioneering made history. These are the heroes and heroines of the Hall of Fame, starring Lionel Barrymore this Sunday night on most of these same stations. The top dramatic show of them all, the Lux Radio Theater, is heard Monday night on the CBS Radio Network.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson presents Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are stranded on the Martian desert, 100 miles from the nearest city. They've just come to an expanse of tiny green plants, carpeting the desert for miles. Something's wrong with my throat, Commander. It feels tight. It's hard to breathe.
Mine's the same way, Happy.
Couldn't be the dust coming up from the ground,
No, it comes from the plants. Every time you take a step, the plants shoot out spores, poisoning the atmosphere.
It's getting worse, Commander.
What's still worse, these are poisonous lichens.
Poison? What are we going to do, sir? We can't go back.
Well, if we go on, these plant spores will paralyze our breathing muscles. We'll suffocate.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Electronic Buglar.
Say, you want to have some fun, gang? Well, listen to this jet cycle. There's nothing in the tank but ordinary fuel, and here's the result. Just a putt-putt. That's all it is with ordinary fuel, but pour in some super fuel. Wow, that jet cycle is supercharged now. Yes, sir, gang. When it comes to supercharging, you need super fuel. And the same thing is true of you, especially in the morning when you haven't had a bite to eat for hours. So to really get up ahead of steam, to really get set for a lightning takeoff, you have to get supercharged. And here's Buzz Corey's way of doing it. He eats a good breakfast with Rice Chex or Wheat Chex, the super cereals that help to supercharge you. Bite-sized Chex. Chex, the cereals that taste so good. Chex, the cereals that are so crisp, so absolutely different. So take a tip from Buzz Corey. Eat a good breakfast with a super cereal and get supercharged. The super cereals, Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. Even on the man-made planet Terra itself, few citizens are aware of the existence of the Maris Design and Development Company. Yet from Mercury to Pluto, there's hardly a man, woman, or child whose life isn't made more secure and pleasant because of the engineering know-how in the creation of electronic devices by the Maris Company. And so when Howard Maris reported that his Terra offices had been burglarized, Commander Corey assumed personal charge of the investigation. Right now, Buzz and Happy are standing before the damaged door of the Maris Company vault, questioning the perplexed and worried executive, Howard Maris.
I can't understand why the alarm system didn't work. I set it myself last night, just as I always do.
How do you set it?
There's a lock switch in my private office. Once that switch is set, nobody can force an entrance to the building without setting off the alarm.
Well, what if somebody had the key to the outside doors?
If they used it before regular opening time, even a key would set off the alarm.
The only sign of force, inside or out, is at the vault door. Mr. Maris, are you positive you set the alarm switch last night?
Absolutely. And the alarm did work, you know.
Yes, but several hours too late. By the time our men got here, the metal on the Endurium door had cooled where the atomo torch had melted it.
It's the most baffling thing I've ever run into, Commander.
Mm-hmm. One fact is pretty clear, Mr. Maris.
Yes, what's that?
Whoever did this job was extremely familiar with your operations.
Are you suggesting it was an inside job?
Yeah, it almost had to be. Just look at what was taken.
Yes, the anoscope plans. The most valuable thing in the vault.
Excuse me, sir, but what is this anoscope?
It's a device for detecting mineral deposits hundreds of feet underground.
It's 10 times more efficient than any other instrument or method we have.
Those plans in the hands of someone who knows their value are worth at least 1 million space credits.
Wow.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, Maris here. Oh, very well. Commander, I'm wanted in my office. Would you excuse me, please?
Surely, Mr. Maris. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, Commander, if it was an inside job, why did the thief have to use an atomo torch on the vault? He got into the building without setting off the alarm.
The alarm didn't go off until the thief was safely away. If I didn't know Maris so well, I'd suspect him of being involved in the robbery.
Well, how about his chief engineer, Cheller?
Well, they've both agreed to a brainograph test. I think they'll pass it. They've worked with Robbie and me on top-secret projects a number of times. Maris and Cheller are exceptionally honest.
Well, the security department men have gone over everything and haven't found a single clue. What's the next step?
The brainograph.
Excuse me, sir, but have a look at this.
What?
On the floor of the vault here, it looks like broken glass.
It is. Somebody dropped his glasses. Gather it up carefully, Happy.
Yes, sir. Well, there's hardly anything left but slivers.
Don't cut yourself, but get all of it.
Hey, Maris doesn't wear glasses.
Neither does Cheller. Happy, don't mention this to anyone. We'll have a check made on Maris employees to see who does wear glasses. I hope there are enough large pieces there to tell what the optical formula is.
I've got it, sir. The pieces are in this piece of paper.
All right, Hap. We'll turn it over to the lab.
Goodbye, Stokes. So long, Maris, and thanks. Don't make that any time. Now, Commander, you mentioned a brainograph test whenever you're ready.
Fine, Mr. Maris. By the way,
The man who just left, he looks familiar. Oh, that was Ward Stokes. He's a precision machinist. Does special assignments for me from time to time. Oh, sure. I remember him now. About a year ago, Major Robertson had him work on a special viewscope for the security lab. Oh, that's so? I had him in mind for the anoscope job. Did you discuss it with him? Oh, no. No, I wouldn't do that until I'd checked with security. That's our standard policy on really important jobs. Stokes just dropped in to pick up an instrument case he left in my office. I see. Your man, Captain Scoville, talked to him. Captain Scoville and his men will remain on duty here for a day or two, Mr. Maris, checking the alarm system. Yes, Commander, I understand. They won't interfere with your regular operations any more than they have to. Now, if you'll get Cheller, Happy and I will take you to headquarters for the brainograph test. Oh, Stokes, you got the case all right.
Yes, walked right into Maris' office. One of Corey's men gave me the once-over, but didn't even stop me.
Has the case been tampered with?
No, it was on the floor exactly where I left it yesterday. After all, it looks just like what it's supposed to be, an instrument case.
Yes. Not even Boss Corey would suspect this small box of being an electronic burglar.
And now that we've got it back here, no one will ever suspect. Oh, I see you found your spare glasses.
Yeah. You know, I worn glasses for 30 years, and I never broke a pair till last night.
And you never cracked a safe till last night either. Oh, did you?
Well, if I did, I wouldn't have been so awkward when I removed the protective goggles.
Nah. Well, it was a small price to pay for what we've got.
Yes. That reminds me, you better put that robot burglar away and help me copy the anoscope design.
Where do you want me to put the burglar?
In the staging room for now.
All right. This stage set's a great piece of work, even if I do say so myself. Startling duplicate of Mer's private office.
Well, it would have to be, wouldn't it? Otherwise, we couldn't have trained our mechanical helper to find the alarm switch in the real office.
You know, I've made dozens of machines operated by electric eye, but until you came along, it never occurred to me to,
to make a machine that works for you instead of somebody else.
Yes, Bartram, I guess that's it. The toughest part of the whole job was getting a hold of Maris' burglar alarm key long enough to make a duplicate.
Maris doesn't suspect us. Corey doesn't suspect us. I'd say we pulled it off without a hitch. But now we better get ready to blast off from Mars. Happy, I suppose you heard the results of the brainograph test.
Yes, sir. Maris and Scheller didn't have anything to do with the robbery.
Not only that, but they haven't the remotest idea who might have done it.
That's great, except that it doesn't help us much. Oh, how about the fragments of glasses?
Well, the lab couldn't tell a thing. The boys did their best, but the pieces aren't big enough to indicate the optical formula.
Oh, well. Maybe it wasn't a thief that dropped it there anyway.
Maybe not. Maris says that he and Cheller are the only ones that go into the vault. We would get this clue just when our chief optical expert is in the hospital.
Dr. Pricer?
Yes. I contacted Pricer and showed him the fragments on the telescreen. He thinks he could determine the lens formula after he's out of the hospital.
When will that be?
In 10 days. You know, I think I'll take a suggestion. Pricer says this man Stokes might be able to help us.
Stokes? Oh, the fellow Maris was talking about?
Yes. Stokes helped Pricer on some high-precision optical work a while back. Pricer thinks he's great.
He could well be, with both Maris and Pricer raving about him.
Now, let's pay him a visit, Happy, and see if he can put our glass jigsaw puzzle together. Mr. Stokes, I imagine you're a pretty busy man, but at the moment, you're the only one who can help us.
I'm rather rushed, Commander, but if it's for the Space Patrol, I'll be glad to if I can.
I have some fragments of what apparently was once a pair of glasses. Can you determine the optical formula from these small pieces?
Why, it would be rather difficult. May I ask why you want this information?
By tracing the prescription, we might be able to check with various opticians and find a thief.
A thief?
Yes. Confidentially, I'll tell you that these fragments were found in Maris' vault after the burglary. You know about that, of course.
Yes, it's perfectly outrageous. And this is the only clue you have?
So far.
Oh. Well, I'm afraid I couldn't give you a very accurate analysis, Commander.
I see. Well, perhaps Dr. Pricer can do it when he gets out of the hospital.
However, let me examine these fragments more closely. Will you let me take them into my lab in the next room?
Of course.
It won't take me long to find out if further tests will be worthwhile.
He didn't seem very interested at first, Commander.
It's a challenge to his ingenuity. He'll probably help us.
All these pictures of gadgets on the walls. Are these Stokes' inventions?
I suppose so.
Hey, come and look at this one, sir. The picture here by the door.
All right.
It's a miniature viewscope, no bigger than your hand.
An amazing piece of construction.
Well, I'd like to see the actual thing. Hey, Yeah, wonder what's in this room here.
Happy.
Oh, well, I wasn't snooping, sir. I just thought... Hey, look at this.
What is it?
For a minute, I thought I'd been here before. But this is an exact duplicate of Maris's private office.
It does look like it. Same furniture arrangement, same size, same fixtures.
Yeah, maybe the same person designed the offices, and Maris's is just like Stokes.
No, I don't think so, Happy.
What do you mean, sir?
These walls don't reach the ceiling. This is a room built inside a larger room, like a stage set.
You're right. It seems kind of silly.
It certainly does. And then...
Hey, what's that, Commander?
Machinery of some kind, but I don't see... Oh, it's that instrument case. The lid's opening.
Look at it, Commander. Now the whole case is moving, rolling across the floor.
I wonder what could have started that thing up.
Now look, it's running a long rod up in the air.
Yeah, very ingenious. A telescoping rod in sections with a key on the end of it.
Sure like to have one of those things. It looks like it's on its way to unlock something.
Mm-hmm. To unlock a mystery. Watch it closely, Happy.
What am I going to tell him about you? Well, tell him you can probably figure out the optical prescription. Then, in a day or two, give him a fake formula. Good. And Corey will never be able to trace you. Go tell him and get him out of here. Yes.
Commander, I've got good news for you. Commander, where are you?
In here, Stokes.
Oh.
Happy and I are watching this fantastic gadget of yours.
How does that thing get started? Here, I'll shut it off.
No, wait. Let's see what it does.
It's just a silly toy. I'll turn it off.
Later, Stokes.
But Commander.
Hey, it acts like it's looking for something. Now it's heading right for that little doozy on the wall there.
The lock switch.
It's feeling for the keyhole.
A very clever machine, Stokes. So that's how the alarm system was shut off.
What do you mean?
You can't deny this room is an exact replica of Maris's office.
Suppose it is. Lots of offices are alike.
I see. Then, of course, you won't mind taking a brainograph test.
That'll be enough snooping, Corey. Get your hands off. You too, Cadet. Get their weapons, Stokes.
Yes, Barger.
Keep behind them in case I have to use this ray gun.
So you're Stokes' partner in the burglary. Voucher, huh?
Hold them, Stokes. Confounded men, you should have locked the door.
How did I know they'd be coming here?
And that robot. How did it get started?
The timing mechanism. I forgot to shut it off.
So just 12 hours after the robbery, it started up again.
Yeah. In another 3 hours, the robot would turn the lock switch back on, move back to its original position, withdraw its wheels and levers, and become an innocent instrument case again.
Too bad Stokes has such a good reputation as a precision machinist, or we'd never have come here.
It is too bad, Corey. But I'm afraid it's too bad for you.
What are we going to do with them?
We can't dispose of them here on Terra. We'll take them to my lab on the Martian desert, where they'll never be found.
We'll be back with Space Patrol in just a moment. Say, gang, listen to this boy going to the breakfast table. He doesn't care if he ever gets there, does he? He doesn't like his breakfast cereal, that's why. No zip, no lift, no flavor. Now, here's a girl. Listen to how she goes to breakfast. She doesn't even bother about going. Same trouble. A cereal dull as can be. No taste, no tang, no nothing. Now, here's another youngster going to breakfast. No wonder he's in a hurry. He's really going for breakfast, because this fella does what Buzz Corey does. He has a checkerboard super cereal for breakfast every single morning. Rice Chex or Wheat Chex. The cereals with that modern bite-sized design for easy eating. And boy, it's not just the size that makes Chex easy to eat. It's that flavor. Man, oh man, Chex have a flavor that keeps that spoon of yours going up and down, up and down, up and down until the cereal bowl's empty. So get the cereals that have you sprinting to the table for them. The super cereals that help to supercharge you. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. Buzz and Happy have been captured by two criminals who stole designs for a valuable new mineral detection device from the Maris Design and Development Company vault. The thieves, Stoke and Boucher, have locked the space patrolman in a compartment on a spaceship and are heading for a hideout on the Martian desert.
Certainly aren't taking any chances, sir. My wrists are tied so tight, my fingers are numb.
If we can work loose before the ship lands, we might be able to fight our way out of this mess, Happy. Keep at it.
Yes, sir.
Now, they cut the rockets. Feel that increased gravity pull?
Yes, sir.
they're carrying out their original plans, it means we're landing on Mars. We've got to work fast before they can land.
Unlock the compartment, Stokes. I'll keep them covered.
All right. Now you two on your feet.
Let's check these ropes. Turn around. I said turn around. And I say something, I mean it, Corey.
I'll remember that, Boucher.
With the little time you got left, I suggest you dwell on more pleasant memories. Okay. The ropes are still tight. Get moving, you two. This is our little Martian hideout.
Sure is a filthy little hideout.
Well, maybe we'll let you clean it up before we do away with you.
Let's get some heat on. I'm freezing.
Stokes, you're going right back to the ship and blast off for Lowell City.
You still think I should make contact with Bob?
Yes. I'll stay here and guard Corey and the cadet until everything is set. Leave the designs here.
I'll put them in the cupboard.
All right. If you find everything safe in Lowell City, then make arrangements for getting the money from Tarp, and we'll hand over the design.
When do we get rid of Corey and the cadet?
Just as soon as you get back. Nobody will ever find them out here in the desert. You better get going.
Oh, I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Come out to the ship with me.
Well, all right. I don't imagine you'll want to leave, Corey. But we'll lock the door just in case.
Well, sir, we've got until Stokes gets back to get out of here.
Even if we overpower Boucher, we'll need Stokes' ship to escape. Do you see a space phone in here?
No, sir. But maybe there's one hidden around someplace.
Happy, there's a heating control. Kick the switch with your foot.
You cold, sir?
No, but put it on full, quickly.
Yes, sir. There it is, sir.
Good. Now, if this room will just heat up in a hurry.
Well, there goes Stokes.
Now, when Boucher comes into this heated room, I have a hunch he'll have some trouble with his glasses.
Huh?
Coming in from the cold air, they'll fog up just like the windows.
Hey, yeah, then we can rush him.
The best we can hope to do is knock him down with a headlong dive until we can get our hands free. Here he comes. Get ready.
Yes, sir.
All right, gentlemen. Now we'll just relax. Oh, you got the heat on. I told you space patrolmen were hardy souls accustomed to cool. Confound it. My glasses are...
Okay, Happy?
Get off of me.
He dropped his gun, Commander.
Take it out of the way. That's it.
Can you handle Boucher with your hands tight, sir?
I won't have to. They're loose, Happy. All right, Boucher.
Let go of me.
And stop struggling. On your feet. I'll take the gun, Happy. Boucher, untie the cadet.
Wait till I get my breath. You knocked all the wind out of me.
It's all right, sir. The ropes are working loose.
Good. Boucher, is there a spacephone in this building?
No, there was a portable set on the ship, but I forgot to bring it in.
You just have to wait till Stokes returns. You get a nice surprise when he walks in that door.
Should we tie Boucher up, sir?
That might be a good idea. We won't have to watch him so closely. Boucher, get away from that cupboard.
I'll get him, Commander.
They're not there. They're gone.
What are you talking about?
The anoscope design. Stokes never put them in a cupboard.
I saw him walk over there.
He double-crossed me. The dirty rat.
What good would they do you if they were there?
Don't you see? Stokes isn't coming back, and we're stuck here.
He's right, Happy. This puts all of us in a tough spot. Boucher, how far did you say it was to the nearest city?
100 miles. 100 miles of desert.
We don't have any way to call for help.
We'll die out here. We only got food for 2 days.
Maybe. But we're not going to stay here. Let's take what food and water we can and start across the desert.
On foot? We could never make it.
We're going to try it. Now, where's the food locker? Come on, Boucher. You're lagging behind.
Don't make me walk anymore, please.
You've got yourself into this mess. We're going to keep moving.
All right. I'll try to make it.
That's it. Now stop blubbering and save your breath.
Hey, these green plants are all around us.
They're lichens, Happy. In the Martian summer, they turn rust-colored.
Stop. Wait.
Now what?
I feel sick. Something's wrong with my throat.
Well, I don't feel so good myself, but we've got to keep moving.
Hold on a minute. There's something strange in the air.
It's dust coming up from the ground, sir. Every time we step, a little puff of dust spurts up.
From the lichens, Happy. They're spores.
Spores?
Yes, tiny cells from these plants. This kind is poison.
What?
They're getting into our throats, lungs.
Let's get out of them, quick.
But we've got to keep on going.
The plants stretch for miles in all directions except behind us.
Then let's go back.
We can't go back. Commander, these spores, what do they do?
If we keep inhaling them, They'll paralyze our breathing muscles. We'll suffocate.
I'm going back.
Boucher, come back here. Grab him, Happy.
Boucher, keep your head. All this stomping around's making it worse.
Stand still, Boucher. Be quiet. Look around, examine the terrain. Maybe we can find a bare stretch of ground.
It's hopeless. We're trapped. Trapped on the desert.
I said be quiet. See anything, Happy?
No, sir. Except that low hill there. Seems to be a tower of some kind.
Yes, a power relay tower. There's one every 20 miles.
Maybe there's a spaceophone at the tower. If we can get there, we could call for help.
That's worth a try. Come on, let's go.
Come on, Boucher. Just a few yards more.
I can hardly breathe.
I don't see anything that looks like a spaceophone, Happy.
Neither do I, sir. Just some wheels and gears.
Those are to adjust the receiving and deflecting coils at the top of the tower.
You mean we can't call for help after coming all this way?
I'm afraid not.
Then what good is this monstrosity? We'll all die here under the tower.
Look, Boucher, lie down and rest a minute and keep quiet.
Sir, by looking at the coils, can't we tell the direction to take to Lowell City?
Yes, but it's straight across those poison lichens. Now, wait a minute. If we were to turn those wheels, it would interrupt the power beam. The beam would miss the next relay tower.
Hey, yeah, they'd have to send somebody out to investigate.
Well, then do it. Turn the wheel. Shut off the power.
Boucher, do you realize that human lives may depend on that power beam?
Well, what about our lives? Our lives depend on it, too. Turn it off.
What we might do, Happy,
Turn it off.
might deflect it slightly, just enough to register on the instruments at the monitor station.
Well, how could we be sure we weren't turning it too far?
See that dial? It points to 0. That means it's right on the beam. The red lines on either side are the danger limits. Here, let's release the holding mechanism. Now we'll turn the wheel carefully.
The indicator's still on 0, sir.
The control mechanism has a high gear ratio for accurate focusing of the beam.
Now it's moving, sir. Halfway to the danger line.
That ought to alert the maintenance crew. Now we'll spin the wheel the other way, back and forth.
Want me to take over again, sir? You must be tired.
All right, Happy. Thanks.
You've been doing that for half an hour and nothing happened. Turn the beam off. Clear off. That's the only way to make them pay attention. It'll be dark in a little while. Nobody will be able to see us.
Commander, look. It's an atmosphere ship.
And it's headed right for the tower.
Well, wait for them. Make sure he sees us.
He'll see us, don't worry. It's a power commission ship, all right, sir. See the big red circle on the hull?
All right, Happy. He's coming in for a landing. Set the indicator back to 0.
There it is, sir. I'll lock it in place. Control secured, sir.
All right, let's get to the ship. We've got an appointment with Stokes in Lowell City.
I told you and the commander how you can pick up Stokes and the man who's going to buy the design. They will go on my record one day.
Oh, sure, but I'm afraid it's a little late now to start thinking about getting off easily.
Happy, I just talked to Lowell City Space Control and the pilot's spaceophone. They're putting a guard around Stokes' ship in case he tries to blast off.
Fine. When do we get to Lowell City?
In a couple of minutes. We'll turn Boucher over to the spaceport guards and go after Stokes in time.
Well, Stokes, the designs seem to be complete.
They're all there, Mr. Tharp.
And now I'd like my money. Of course. I'm glad you and Boucher changed your minds and made a straightforward business deal.
The original plan was just a precaution in case we were being followed. But everything worked out so well.
All right, Stokes. I'll take those plans. All right. Get Tharp, Happy. I'll handle Stokes.
Yes, sir. Where do you think you're going?
All right, Stokes. Had enough?
Oh, yes, Corey. Let up.
I've got Tharp, Commander.
Keep them covered. I'll get the anoscope design.
Yes, sir. All right, Stokes. Move over next to your partner.
Just tell me one thing. How did you get out of the desert?
Well, Commander, why don't we let Boucher explain that to him? It'll give them something to talk about for the next several years they're going to be spending together.
We'll be back with an action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story in just a moment. Say, you want to hear something funny? Well, listen to this. That's a word scrambler, gang. A machine that scrambles secret messages sent by space patrollers over the spaceophone. Now, do you want to know what the message said? Well, here, I'll have it unscrambled for you. To get supercharged, eat a good breakfast with Instant Ralston. That's one of the most important messages a space patroller ever sent. Yes, sir, when you sit down to a good breakfast with good hot Ralston, well, boy, oh, boy, that's your day to shine. For instant Ralston packs a wallop in every spoonful. It's rich whole wheat. Remember, rich whole wheat. That means it'll warm up your motor, tune up your thinker, help start off your day with a bang. Yes, that's the kind of start Buzz Corey gets. That's the kind of start you need to be a winner just like him. So come on, Space Patrollers, get supercharged. Eat a good breakfast with good hot Ralston. And now for a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol story. Buzz and Happy are on Venus on a farm where food is chemically grown in large tanks. As they walk toward a building where Tonga is held captive, huge sun mirrors atop several tall towers turn ominously toward them.
Oh, the rocket, Commander, is really getting hot all of a sudden.
Yes, waves of heat. Even for Venus, this is unusual.
Oh, my eyes. What a glare.
Happy, don't look at those reflectors. They'll blind you.
Let's run for the building and get out of the sun.
Pat, look out. They're focusing those sun mirrors on us.
A whole battery of them are pointed right toward us.
Maybe we can dodge them. Run back this way.
Commander, they've got us surrounded by those heat beams, and they're closing in.
They hit us with all those at once. We're finished for good.
Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Space Shark, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol!
And now here's a message from Commander Buzz Corey.
Here's a little riddle. What is it that is scarce, valuable, and necessary, yet given away free? The answer is blood, the gift of life. Yes, when grown-ups give blood at the Red Cross Center, they don't receive money, but they do receive the wonderful, deep-felt satisfaction of knowing they helped save a life. Now, how would you like to help me get more people to save lives? Join my Space Patrol Blood Boosters. It's lots of fun, so how about it? Join today.
Space Patrol, an original Mike Moser production, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Bela Kovacs, Ken Mayer, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufel speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston again present the new exciting Space Patrol! And be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol story on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.